Washington Senators will have Billy Gardner leading off, second base. Dan Dobek, center field. Bob Allison will hit third, playing right field. He hit second last night. Cookie Lavaghetto has shifted his batting order. Jim Lemon hitting fourth, left field. Harmon Killebrew, third base. Julio Becker, first base. Earl Batty catching. Jose Valdivielso, shortstop. And Jim Woodishick pitching. For New York, Tony Kubek leads off, shortstop. Mickey Mantle, center field. Roger Maris, right field. Elston Howard, catching. Bob Serve, left field. Bill Skowron, first base. Gil McDougall, third base. Bobby Richardson, second base. And Bob Curley, pitching. Last night, the Yankees defeated the Senators 5-1 with Jim Coates going the distance. Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris hitting homers and Gil McDougall a triple. In the afternoon yesterday, Kansas City defeated Chicago 4-3. Detroit nosed out Cleveland 10 innings 4-3. Baltimore rained out. Baltimore leading the league by one game over Cleveland and Chicago, who are in a virtual tie for second, but the Indians lead in percentage, having played fewer games. The Tigers and the Yankees are in a virtual tie for fourth. The Tigers lead by 2 percentage points, having played fewer games. And the two of them are 2.5 out of first place. Then follow Boston, 6.5 out, Washington 7 out, and Kansas City 7.5 out. In the National League yesterday, San Francisco shut out St. Louis 8-0. Pittsburgh defeated Philadelphia 4-2 in 13 innings. Chicago beat Los Angeles 4-3 in 14 innings, and Milwaukee, Cincinnati rained out. San Francisco leads the league by a game over Pittsburgh. Milwaukee third, 4.5 out. Cincinnati fourth, 5 games out. Los Angeles fifth, 7 out. Then comes St. Louis, 8.5 out. Chicago, 9.5 out. Philadelphia, 12.5 games out. Today, looking at the Valentine scoreboard in the American League, Boston at Baltimore playing a doubleheader. Sullivan against Barber in the first game. Cleveland, Detroit will play 2. No report as yet. And Chicago, Kansas City, 1 game. In the National League, Philadelphia at Pittsburgh, it'll be Roberts against Law. All single games in the National League. No report as yet. Milwaukee, Cincinnati, San Francisco at St. Louis, Los Angeles at Chicago. Casey Stengel was sidelined last evening by a virus infection. Ralph Houk was the acting manager, and Casey, still ailing, feels a little better and hopes to be back either tomorrow or Tuesday. The Yankees take the field. The umpires, Joe Paparella at place, Johnny Rice at first, Al Smith at second, Ed Runge at third. And as the umpires move to position, we have now our national anthem. Today's game for Washington, Woodishick and Batty. For New York, Curley and Howard. And the best battery of them all, baseball and Valentine beer. The Crisp Professor. A doubleheader tomorrow with the Senators. First game starting at 1:30. The Decoration Day doubleheader. Plenty of good seats available. Chuck Dobbs and Pete Ramos will be pitching for the Senators with Ralph Terry and Art Ditmar, the starters for New York. After a 3-day trip to Baltimore, the Yankees return next weekend with the Boston Red Sox. Next Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and a doubleheader a week from today with the Red Sox. Next Saturday afternoon will be a ladies' day. Then come the White Sox for 4 games in 4 days. Monday night, Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday night, Thursday afternoon, June 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And then the Indians, Friday night, the 10th, Saturday afternoon, the 11th, and a doubleheader on Sunday, June 12th, to wind up the home stand. Billy Gardner, the lad from New London, Connecticut, hitting 300. 42 for 140. 300 on the season, but he went into the week since May 22nd hitting at a 435 clip. The pitch from Shirley is high, ball 1. He had 1 out of 3 last night. Shirley's delivery, high and inside for ball 2. Shirley making his 6th appearance. He has a record of 1-1. This is his 3rd start. Red Sox beat him 7-1 in his first appearance at Boston. Then he relieved 3 times, getting credit for a win over Washington and relieved May 13th. The 2-0 delivery. That's outside for ball 3. At Kansas City, he was relieved by Gaber in the 6th inning. He'd given up 3 runs. And Gaber was credited with a win. No strike. And the pitch. In there, 3-1. Count. Shirley's next pitch is just outside for ball 4, and Gardner walks. Now coming to bat is Dan Bilbeck. Bilbeck batting .221. He's had 4 out of his last 10 times at bat, however, which is a 400 pace. Shirley delivers, and Bilbeck takes high outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strike. Bob seems to be aiming at ball instead of firing it in there. Doesn't seem to be quite loose yet. Now the delivery. That's a low one inside. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strike. McDougall walks over to say something to Shirley. No strike. Shirley now, after taking a little time, taking a few deep breaths now into the stretch. Gardner leading away from first. The delivery in there for a strike. Good one. Two balls, 1 strike. Clary coaching at third, Sam Mealy at first. McDougall shortened up at third. Gardner leads away from first, and the pitch to the left-hand batter is way outside. Ball 3, 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike. Now Joe Paparella is pointing to something. Not in the dugout, but I think over. Maybe it was to the dugout. Now he's thrown somebody out. Somebody's gotten the heave-ho in the Washington dugout. Somebody got the finger. And we'll have to find out who it was a little later. He was riding Paparella. Joe warned him and then ran him. 3 balls, 1 strike. Gurley to the stretch, and the pitch in strike 2, full count. We'll have to check to find out who it was. He never did come out of the dugout. 3 balls, 2 strikes. We'll watch Billy Gardner leading away. Stretched by Turley. There goes Gardner. The pitch is outside, ball 4. Back walk. Gardner moves to second. 2 on, nobody out. And here's Bob Allison hitting .320 on the season. Since May 22nd, he's had 6 for 25. And 2 out of 3 last night. Going into last night's game, he had been in a slump, hitting at a 182 pace over the previous week. Nobody out and 2 on. Bob Turley's pitch is high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Jim Lemon on deck, and Harmon Killebrew to follow. Bob Turley fighting for control here in the first inning. The 1-0 pitch. Swung on to high, pop foul, may fade out of play. It's over near the Senator dugout and is out of play. Dropping in behind the dugout a couple of rows. The 1-1 count. Pete Wisnant was the man thrown out of the game. The Senators got Wisnant from Cleveland, and the Indians had gotten him from Cincinnati. 1 ball, 1 strike. Leading away from second. Bill Beck from first. Nobody out. Bob Turley to the stretch. The pitch is bunted, and it's foul to the right of the plate. Strike 2. 1-2. The Yankees were not playing for a bunt, and Allison tossed them up for the bunt down the first baseline. A 1-2 count. Leads off second. Bill Beck off first. Here's the pitch. Curve is outside. Count is 2-2. Turley has always had a problem in coordination. Certain days, he gets himself coordinated. He's pretty good. He's forcing the ball up there right now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runners lead away from first and second. Nobody out. And the pitch to Allison. Just in there for call strike 3. Got the inside corner. Allison hadn't left the plate yet, but now he moves away. Now here's Jim Lemon. Lemon batting .239, but he's had 10 homers and 27 runs batted in. Tied for the league lead in homers and second in the league in RBIs. Jim had 1 out of 3 last night. Went into the game last night with a week's average of .261, 6 for 23. Gardner leading off second. Bill Beck off first. Pitch to the right-hand batter. Swung on and missed. Strike 1. 0-1. No balls, 1 strike. Harmon Killebrew on deck. Taking his time. Dives into the stretch. Gardner again leading away from second. Bill Beck from first. Curley fires away. Curveball low outside, and the count is 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. field, shaded a little toward the left. McDougall deep, driving the line. Curley again to the stretch. Runners leading away from first and second. And the pitch. Swung on and fouled off right at the plate. Strike 2, 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A 1-2 count. Goes to the rosin bag. Lemon, who had stepped out of the batter's box for a moment, back in now. Digs in. Feet well spread. Bends his knees, leans a little from the waist. The runners leading away from first and second. Bob Curley steps off the rubber, and the runners move back. Now Curley is back on into the stretch. Gardner moving off second. Dobek off first. Here's the pitch to Jim Lemon. Curve low outside. Ball 2. 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sam Mealy watching Skowron, who's playing behind Dobek. Alice Clary watching Richardson and Kubek for Gardner, leading away from second. Now the stretch, and the 2-2 pitch is swung on to high, top foul, may fade out of play, and it will behind the Yankee dugout. Count remains 2-2. Darren Howard has gone over. Doubleheader tomorrow, first game at 1:30. Sunday doubleheaders, of course, start at 2. Minutes past 2. Two balls, 2 strikes on Jim Lemon. Gardner and Dobek leading away from second and first, respectively. Curley ready, and the pitch to Lemon. Swung on, foul back above it. Count remains 2-2. Curley walks out in front of the rubber now. Balls at the dirt. Guys back in the pitching position. Lemon digs in. Gardner and Dobek, both of whom walk, leading away from second and first. 1 out and a 2-2 count on Big Jim. Bob Curley delivers. The curve. It's in there for call strike 3. And Lemon didn't like the call. 2 down now, and here's Harmon Killebrew. Killebrew sidelined earlier this season with a pulled leg muscle. During in his 21st game, batting .257. He's had 6 out of his last 27. Smashed a double here last night, a long drive to left. Great power. Gardner and Dobek leading away now from second and first. Bob Curley getting ready to pitch to Killebrew. Outfield deep, and they're playing him straight away. Bob into the stretch. And the pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. Strike 1. 0-1. He can whip that bat. Again the stretch by Curley. Gardner leading away from second. Dobek from first. Here's the pitch. It's a curve and stays inside. 1-1. Julio Beck there on deck. Killebrew steps out of the batter's box for 2 seconds. Now he's back into hitting position. The runners lead away from first and second. And the pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. Strike 2. 1-2. He hummed that one in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gardner moves off second. Dobek off first. The stretch by Turley. Here's the pitch. Curveball high, and the count is 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Again, the stretch by Turley. The runners lead away from first and second. Here's the pitch, and Killebrew takes it high for ball 3. Full count. Gardner and Dobek will be off and running with the pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The stretch by Turley. Gardner and Dobek ready to go. There they go, and the pitch is low for ball 4, and the bases are loaded. They lost him after being ahead of him. So 3 men are aboard, and here's Julio Becker, batting .250 on the season. Went into last night's game with a week average of .280. He's had 8 for his last 29. Left-hand batter up with 3 men aboard. Man lead away. The pitch to Becker. Swung on, lined out to left. Serve coming fast and catches it for the out. And the side's retired. Julio Becker lines out to serve in left field. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 3 men left on. End of the first half, the first inning. Washington nothing, and New York coming to bat. The first inning. Kubek, Mantle, and Maris coming up. Hal Woodishick, a left-hander, making his 4th appearance of the season, has a record of 1 win, no losses. This is his first start. He relieved 3 times against Boston, and once against Boston, twice against Cleveland. Credited with a win over Cleveland May 4th in relief. He went 4 2/3 innings and gave up 1 run. He's a 6'3", 195-pound left-hander, 27 years old, soon to be 28. He started out in the majors with the Tigers. He was with them in 1956 briefly, and eventually went to Cleveland. With the Indians in 1958 in 14 games. He won 6 and lost 6. And he went with Washington end of last year. Pitch to Kubek is inside. He was with Toronto most of last year, won 3 and lost 1. I beg your pardon, he was with Toronto briefly last year, won 3 and lost 1. And appeared in 31 games with Washington, won 2 and lost 4. He used largely in relief. The pitch is in there for a strike. shortens up at third. The pitch to Tony, swung on, hit by Killebrew down the left field line for a base hit. Tony tried to go for two. Here's Lemon's throw, and Kubek is out at second. Lemon to Gardner. Kubek out trying to stretch his single into a double. Lemon to Gardner. Kubek, with Killebrew drawn in, hit a hard shot down the line past Killebrew, but was out trying to go for two. Lemon to Gardner. Kubek, who is hitting .309 on the season and has been hitting much better of late, went into this past week with a weekly average of .385. Mickey Mantle right now takes it inside. Mantle batting .231. Woodishick's pitch swung on, hit into right field, and it's in there for a base hit. Allison tossing it back in to Gardner. Mantle slices a single to right. Kubek, who was out trying to stretch his single into the double, has gotten 10 base hits leading off in the ball game in the 24 games in which he has batted in the leadoff position. He's also walked twice leading off in a ball game. Roger Maris takes the strike. Maris hitting .318 for the season. He's had 6 hits in his last 16 at bats. The pitch is swung on, hit foul down the left field line, out of play. In the upper deck, 2 strikes, nothing in 2. Leads away from first, 1 out. The next pitch, curve, sweeps outside. A 1-2 count. The outfield is shading Maris toward left and center and left, but almost right away right. They don't figure Maris to pull him. Curve is swung on and missed. Strike 3. Maris strikes out. Now Elston Howard coming up, batting .260. May 17th through the 23rd, Howard hit at a .385 pace, 5 for 13. During his past week in 3 games, he had 2 for 8. .250 average. Two men out now. Mantle on first, no score, first inning. Woodishick's pitch swung on, fouled off, out of play to the right of the plate, hits the upper deck, rebounds to the playing field. Leading Boston 1-0, 10 to the first inning. First game of a doubleheader, and Pittsburgh leads Philadelphia 2-0, 10 to the first inning. Now the pitch. Outside, ball 1, 1-1. Mantle bluffs to late field of second. 1 ball, 1 strike. Woodishick into the stretch. Mantle with a short lead. The pitch. It's fouled off as Howard puts the pitch. The ball curved on in on the handles. There goes Mickey, and the ball is swung on and hit through the hole between third and short to left field. Mantle turns second, heading for third, and goes on in. Throw goes to second base. Mantle breaking to second, pulled the shortstop over, and Howard hit right through the hole. Now Bob Serve comes up. Runners on first and third, 2 out. Serve batting .279 on the season. The the week of May 17th through 23rd. He hit at a .412 pace, 7 for 17. Batting .270 on the season. He's only had 3 hits during the past week. 17 at bat. The pitch outside, ball 1. No strikes, 2 outs. Mantle leads off third, Howard off first. The pitch to serve is in there for a strike. You know, people like to replay an inning and say, if this hadn't happened, if that hadn't happened. Actually, if Kubek hadn't tried to go to second, the inning might have been over. The pitch swung on, fouled off to the right of the plate. The reason is, if Kubek stayed on first, he might have even gone to third on Mantle, single to right, but with Maris striking out 1 out, Howard's ball would have been a double play ball the way they would have played it. Assuming perfect handling. Here's the pitch. The low outside, 2-2 count. Sometimes it works around the other way, you know. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. You can never figure those things, though, because you pitch differently in different situations. Runners leading away from first and third. The 2-2 pitch swung on, hit foul, out of play in the lower stands behind the Yankee dugout. Up underneath the mezzanine. The pitch swung on, bounced to short. A big hopper to Baldy, flipped to Gardner, forcing Howard. The sides retired. Both teams threatened in the first inning and failed to score. No runs for New York, 3 hits. No errors for the Senators, and 2 Yankees left on. At the end of an inning, Washington nothing, New York nothing. Baltimore leading Boston 1-0, 10 of an inning and a half. Barber and Sullivan, they're playing a doubleheader. Cleveland at Detroit. In the first game, it'll be Hawkins against Mossy. Chicago, Kansas City. The latest start, playing 1 game. Pittsburgh leading Philadelphia 2-0, 10 of an inning and a half. Law against Roberts. Mazeroski has just homered for Pittsburgh in the last or second to make it at least 3-0. Milwaukee at Cincinnati will find Willie pitching against Cook. San Francisco at St. Louis, Jones against Jackson. Los Angeles at Chicago, Padres against Cardwell. A doubleheader tomorrow. Game time 1:30. Hope that you'll be on hand. Plenty of seats available. It'll be Stobbs and Ramos against Perry and Ditmar. Right now, we pause for station identification.
You are tuned to 1460 on the radio dial. This is WOKO, Albany, New York. Time on the WOKO clock is 29 minutes before 3. The current temperature is 73 degrees.
In the first half of the second inning, it'll be the bottom third of the Washington order. Earl Batty, Jose Valdivielso, and Hal Woodishick. Bob Curley walked the bases loaded in the first inning. Struck out 2 and got the last man on the line drive to left. The pitch to Batty. Misses, ball 1. Little outside. Batty hitting .225. Now the pitch swung on and missed. Strike 1. 1-1. Red Sox are here next Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and doubleheader a week from today. 1 pitch. Fastball high, and the count is 2-1. Bob leans forward, swings to his windup, and the pitch swung on, popped foul, out of play to the right of the plate, into the lower stand. Fellow stood up on the seat and reached for the ball. That's a dangerous thing to do. You start to lean with it, and you find it up face to face with the concrete. The 2-2 pitch on as a fly ball into short left center. Here's Mantle coming on fast and makes the catch. Actually, he went all the way in behind Kubek and in front of serve. Came a long way to get it. Bob didn't quite make it. Neither could Kubek. One down, and here's Jose Valdivielso. Valdivielso, whose father years ago played some football at Boston University from Matanzas, Cuba. Right-hand hitter. Curly's pitch, looks out, trail time inside, ball one. Jose has been in organized ball since 1953. This would make the 7th year. But he sure has moved a lot. Curly's next pitch, swung on, hit sharply to short. One hop. Kubek to his right, grabs it, throws to first, and they're two away. While Woodishick is coming up, we'll check. Valdivielso now in 7 seasons. And remember this, obviously in certain years he played with different clubs. He played with Lubbock in 1953. In 1954 he was with Charlotte, Rock Hill, and Lubbock. In 1955 he was with Charlotte and Washington. In 1956 he was with Washington and Louisville. In 1957 Indianapolis. 1958 Phoenix and Minneapolis. In 1959 Washington and Miami. Woodishick bats right-handed, takes the pitch inside for a ball. He's always been a very slick glove man, but never was able to hit well enough to really stay in the majors. But he just might pick up in that regard. Here's the pitch, it's in for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hal Woodishick. Comes in with a fastball swung on and missed, strike 2. Woodishick wound up with the bat that time to swing. Hard thing to do against a fastball. You start winding up on a fastball and you're in trouble. You better hold that bat at the ready. Curly's pitch, fastball outside, and the count is 2-2. Second inning, a little kid might say, Washington ain't got nothing, and the Yankees ain't got nothing. Sometimes the big kids say that. The 2-2 delivery. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and the side's retired. And Washington still ain't got nothing, and the Yankees ain't got nothing. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. At the end of an inning and a half, Washington, as I said, ain't got nothing, and the Yankees ain't got nothing. And I tell you, when you will have something, and that is when you enjoy the Crisp Professor Ballantine beer. A beer that's truly light, smooth, and delicious as a beer can be. Ballantine beer, the Crisp Professor, is truly light, but there's more to it than that. Ballantine adds something to its lightness. Flavor. Man, no sense of having lightness and got flavor. Ballantine beer is a light beer with true lager flavor. That means it's as light as you like it, but it still delivers all the downright delicious lager beer flavor you want. And that's what makes it the Crisp Professor. So treat yourself to some smooth, delicious Ballantine. The largest selling beer in the East from Maine to Florida. It's a treat that when you have it, you know you've got something. Now the last half of the second inning. Phil Sharon hitting 6th in the order. Leads off McDougal and Richardson to follow. Moose down to 279. From May 17th through the 23rd, he hit it at 120 pace, 3 for 25. And since last Tuesday, he's only had 3 hits, 19 times at bat. He takes a strike. Two-strike delivery. It's in there. Strike two. 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. And the 2-strike pitch. It's inside for a ball. 1-2. Delivery. Fouled off over to the Yankee dugout. Moose is taking the pitch, and the ball hits the handle of the bat. There's a good possibility that in the next couple of days or so, when Casey gets back, he may rest Mantle and Skowron. Mickey's knee is still terribly sore. The pitch swung on, grounded to third. Killebrew up with it. Goes on to first in time. And Mickey is going to have been in a bad slump. Off in his timing. He can't get leverage. Moose is just plain off in his timing and pressing. Now, Gil McDougall hitting .259 on the season. But for the week of May 17th through the 23rd, he hit it at a .348 pace and has had 5 hits in his last 4 games. Takes the curveball a little outside. Ball 1. Nothing pitch. Curve is in there for a strike. 1-1. The 1-1 delivery. Swung on. There's a high fly ball down the right field line, curving foul and out of play. A 1-2 count. Woodishick, who's a big fellow, 6'3", 195, has a ball that really moves. Sharp breaking stuff. Live fastball. The 1-2 pitch to McDougall. Change up, screwball outside. 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the delivery. Outside for ball 3. 3-2. Bobby Richardson on deck. They give Gil a lot of room in left center. Lemon straight away to left. Bill Beck stayed to right center. Allison straight away right. And the payoff pitch is inside. Ball swept in on him. McDougall walked. The slick fielding Bobby Richardson, hitting .235 on the season. The week May 17th through 23rd, he hit .318, 7 for 22. He had 3 base hits and 10 times at bat for the first 3 days last week. Nothing for 6 in the last 2 ball games. 1 out, McDougall on first. Now the pitch. Swung on, grounded to third. Killebrew up there nicely. Throws to second for 1. Back on to first, too late. Killebrew grabbed that ball right on the line. Forcing McDougall at second. Gardner's throw to first. Nowhere near in time to get Richardson. Bob Shirley gets to come up in the inning. He's had 2 for 5 this season, batting .400. No score. It's the last of the second. Relatively shallow, shaded toward right, center and right, straightaway left. Woodishick down to 2 innings of play. No score with the Yankees owning the only 3 hits in the game, all in the first inning. Trubeck out, stretching a single into a double, trying to. So the hits were wasted, and the Senators wasted 3 bases on balls in the first inning. Doubleheader tomorrow with the Washington Senators starts at 1:30. Dobbs and Ramos against Perry and Bittmar. Then the Yankees are here next weekend with the Boston Red Sox next Friday night, a Ladies' Day Saturday afternoon, and a doubleheader next Sunday. to nothing, 10 to 3 innings. Cleveland nothing. Detroit batting in the first inning. In the National League, Pittsburgh 6, Philadelphia nothing, 10 to 2.5 innings. Milwaukee 2, Cincinnati batting in the first inning. Eddie Matthews at his 10th homer, 1 on. San Francisco nothing, St. Louis batting in the first inning. It's the first of the third, and the first man up in the batting order. Leadoff man Billy Gardner. Bill Beck on deck, and Allison to follow. Gardner drew a pass in the first inning. Bob Turley, making his 6th appearance and 3rd start of the year, delivers a fastball lined over third down the left field line. Should be in there for extra bases. Serve plays the rebound. Gardner turns first and eases into second with a stand-up double. The first base hit for Washington, an extra base hit. Billy Gardner's 8th two-bagger. Gardner on second, nobody out, and Dan Dobek up. Allison to follow. Turley, who had some arm trouble earlier in the year, has not gone past 5 1/3 innings. Turley to the stretch, Gardner leading away from second. The pitch to the left-hand batter, curveball, high, ball 1. Toward right, center and right, straight away left. Tubeck trying to hold Gardner close. Turley delivers to Dobek, who swings and fouls it back upstairs. Strike 1, 1-1. A large group of youngsters here today. I don't mean in one single group, like the Yankee juniors. I mean the youngsters brought to the game by their parents, boys and girls alike. The 1-1 pitch. Swung on, hit foul down the left field line. Out of play, fly ball. A 1-2 count on Dan Dobek. With a good lead off second. Now the 1-2 pitch, and Dobek swings and hits a fly ball to left. Serve backing up under it. Gardner at second to tag the catch. He starts to third and holds up. The throw goes right into Gill. The ball player will draw a throw when he can. There'll be that one time, then the percentages where the throw will bounce by somebody. It'll be a wild throw and change the situation around. You're always hoping for it, so you draw the throw even though you have no intention of actually going over unless it is a bad throw. Here's Bob Allison, who looked at a third strike in the first inning. Jim Lemon to follow. Power hitting right-hand batter. Turley delivers, and Allison looks at a curve. It's in there. Strike 1. 0-1. The one-strike pitch. Another curve is swung on, hit in the air to deep center. Mantle now getting under it. Ball fades a little. He makes the catch, and Gardner holds it second. The wind has several different directions. Looking at the right field, the flags are blowing out that way. Looking at left field, they're blowing out that way. Looking to center field, and the Old Glory is sort of blowing straight in. 2 outs, and the batter is Jim Lemon. Harmon Killebrew on deck. Lemon looked at a third strike in the first inning. Big Jim, 6'5", right-hand batter, awaits the pitch. Curley delivers it. High, ball one. Tempted curve, didn't break much. No score, first to the third. Billy Gardner on second base, 2 down. Jim Lemon crouches. Bob Curley ready. Now the pitch. Fastball swung on and fouled back to the screen. Strike one, 1-1. Lemon, who is 6'5", crouches a bit, and then when he swings, he's raising up. Gets good lift on the ball when he connects. That pitch was almost in his alley. 1 ball, 1 strike. Curley again to the stretch. Gardner moves off second. Bob's delivery. Curve is swung on. It's a high pop-up that Bobby Richardson gets under. Waiting and makes the catch, and the side's retired. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on. Gardner opened with a double and was stranded. The end of 2.5 innings. Washington nothing, New York nothing. Of the third inning at Yankee Stadium, and it'll be the top of the New York order. Tony Kubek, Mickey Mantle, and Roger Maris. Kubek opened the game with a single, was out trying to stretch it into a double. Mantle followed with a single, and Howard had a single, but the Yankees did not score. Left-hander Hal Woodishick ready to pitch. Harmon Killebrew shortened up at third the way he was in the first inning when Kubek rode the ball by him. The pitch is in there for a strike. 0-1. Big left-hander again delivers. Sidearm fastball inside, and it counts 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the 1-1 pitch. Low outside, ball 2, 2-1. Earl Batty called out to the mound. Woodishick wants to chat with him. Two balls, 1 strike. The next pitch. Ball 3, a little high. 3-1. And the 3-1 pitch. Low outside for ball 4. Kubek walks. That's the second pass issued by Woodishick. Mickey Mantle steps in. Roger Maris on deck. batting right-handed against Woodishick. The left-hander's pitch swung on, missed, strike one, 0-1. Mickey has a look at Cressetti. Woodishick to the stretch and the pitch. Low, ball one, 1-1. One strike. The left-hander again to the stretch and the pitch. Ball two. A little bit outside. 2-1. Now Batty runs out to talk to Woodishick. A 2-1 count on Mickey Mantle. No score. It's the last of the third. Mickey steps out now. Crow hollered to him. 2 balls, 1 strike. Mantle back in. Woodishick to the stretch. Kubek with the lead. The pitch swung on. It's a high foul off to the left of the plate and out of play. A 2-2 count. Two strikes. Left-hander Hal Woodishick into the stretch. Kubek with a short lead off first. The pitch, and Mantle takes it low inside. Ball 3, 3-2. A full count. Again, the stretch by the left-hander. Kubek with the lead. The pitch swung on, grounded, foul down the third base line. Two strikes. Woodishick to the stretch. Kubek with the lead. Throw to first, and Tony's back. Again, we're set to go. The stretch. Kubek with the lead. The 3-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. The throw down is into center field, and Kubek was started back to first. Stops and goes on to second. Batty fired the ball to the bag. Nobody was there. Gardner couldn't quite get over. Kubek was trapped. He was running. Stopped halfway between first and second, started to go back to first, and then turned back around and went on. Kubek advances to second as Mantle strikes out. And here's Roger Maris. The second strikeout for Woodishick. Maris struck out in the first inning. The pitch. Roger takes the curve inside for a ball. The error on the play is given to Gardner for not covering in time. Here's the pitch. Swung on, foul back out of play. A 1-1 count on Maris. Woodishick delivers. Rod swings and misses. Strike 2, 1-2. Maris is swinging a lot at the motion of Woodishick. Eddie Lopat used to be great for that. He'd swing at his motion. He'd change his his speed off of a motion. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Maris strikes out for the second time. Now here's Elston Howard, who singled to left in the first inning. No score, last of the third. Woodishick wants to talk to Batty. Howard had 5 for 13 the week May 17th through 23rd for a 385 average. Had 2 out of 8. Or 3 out of 9, including his first time up today during his last games of the past week. Woodishick ready. Delivers to Howard. Swings and bounces it to third. Killebrew throws on over to first in time, and that retires the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one error, on the play at second. One left on. At the end of 3 innings, Washington no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 4 left on. New York no runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 4 men left on base. This is a perfect time for Valentine, so how about pouring yourself a tall, foaming glassful and enjoy the light beer with true lager flavor? Valentine beer, the crisp refresher. On the Valentine scoreboard, Baltimore leads Boston 1-0, end of 4. Sullivan against Barber. Detroit leads Cleveland 1-0, end of 1. Mossy and Hawkins. Chicago, Kansas City later. National League, Pittsburgh 6, Philadelphia 0, end of 3. Law against Roberts. Chris Short in relief in the second. Mazeroski at a homer. Milwaukee 2, Cincinnati 0, end of an inning and a half. Willie and Hook. Matthews at a homer with 1 on. Giants Cards scoreless, end of an inning and a half. Jones and Jackson. Dodgers Cubs scoreless, end of an inning and a half. Padres and Cardwell. The next voice you'll hear to carry on with you will be that of Phil Rizzuto after we pause for station identification.
You are tuned to 1460 on the radio dial, WOKO, Albany, New York. 73 degrees at 2 1/2 minutes after the hour of 3 on the WOKO clock.
Ready to go in the top of the 4th inning, scoreless ball game, the Yankees and the Senators. Leading off for Washington, Harmon Killebrew. First pitch to Harmon, inside, ball 1, brushed him back. Killebrew walked in the first inning. On deck is Julio Becker. Curley's next pitch is high inside, ball 2. 2-0 the count. Trying to get back in the groove after missing quite a few games because of a pulled muscle in his leg. Swings and fouls the pitch completely out of Yankee Stadium. That's one of the highest fouls I've ever seen. Swung at a high pitch and got underneath it. He sort of uppercuts at a ball when he swings. One reason he strikes out so often, but another reason why he gets such high towering drives when he does hit them. 2-1 the count. Nobody out, nobody on. The top of the 4th. Kerr hit him right in the back. Hit Killebrew right in the back. Harmon is on. Hit by a pitch ball. And here's Julio Becker, who lined out to left field in the first inning with the bases loaded. Bob Cerv making a nice running play to end the bottom of the first inning. Has now walked 3, all of them in the first inning, and hit 1 man. He has given up 1 base hit. That a double of Gardner in the 3rd inning. Garland holds first against Killebrew. Here's the stretch. The pitch is a curve on the outside corner for a called strike. Fairly set. Curve hit on the ground to second. Richardson to Kubek for 1. Back to first. Double play. 37th double play of the year. Last night, 3 double plays by the Yankee infield. Took Jim Coates out of a jam each time. And Kubek and Richardson have been teaming up real well all year. So it's 2 out. Here's Earl Batty, who flied to center field his first time up. Takes the pitch in there, strike call. Batty got off to a real good start. The early part of the year, he's down to 225 now. The 1 strike pitch, low curve, a little bit high ball, 1-1-1. Nobody on. Fastball is a strike called. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Early into the short windup. Slow curve, line to center field, a base hit. Batty timed that one perfectly. Just waited for the ball to break. A line single to center field. That's the second hit off Curley. And it brings up Jose Valdivieso, who bounced out to the shortstop in the second inning. Jose changed his stance last winter and hit better than he'd ever hit any previous year. So he's getting another shot at the shortstop position on the Washington club. He's been up and down quite often. By Shirley. The pitch is low, ball 1. There's never been any question about Valdivieso's fielding ability. It's always been his batting that has held him back. Here's the stretch. Pitch low outside, ball 2, 2-0. In the top of the 4th inning. Batty at first, Skowron playing in back of the runner. Here's the stretch. Pitch is a strike call. Fastball just below the letters. Not a bad crowd here today. See the second game of a 4-game series. Big doubleheader tomorrow. Same 2 clubs. Starting at 1:30 p.m. Here's a 2-1 pitch. A foul. Well. I got a foul ball. How do you like that? Two and two the count. Away from Sam Neely. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. The pitch is a curve a little bit high, ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Batty leading off first base. The pitch is hit to center field. Mantle going back under it now and makes the catch. Ball was hit well. And for Washington in the top of the 4th inning, no runs on 1 base hit. No Yankee errors, 1 man left. The score at the end of 3.5 innings. Washington nothing and the Yankees nothing. Did you ever see a game with just 1 team? A baseball game, that is. Well, of course not. Naturally, it takes 2 teams to play a game. And it's the same with beer. Lightness is fine, but that's just half of it. To really refresh, a beer must have lightness plus flavor. And that's where the crisp refresher Ballantine beer comes in. Proves to more people every day that a beer can be light and still give you all the honest-to-goodness lager beer flavor you want. Yes, sir, Ballantine's the light beer with true lager flavor. And that satisfying combination of lightness and flavor makes Ballantine the crisp refresher. So, if lightness alone won't do for you, and if you want a beer with flavor, too, then, mister, just make the good old three-ring sign and ask the man for Ballantine. Enjoy the crisp refresher, the largest-selling beer in the East from Maine to Florida. Fourth inning. Bob Serve, who bounced into a fourth plate, and the first inning will be the batter. On deck is Bill Scarron, and Gil McDougall will follow. Here's Hal Woodish's first pitch. It's outside, ball one. Pitch is hit deep to left field, and serving foul to the left of the foul pole as Serve got a hold of an inside curveball. The 1-1 pitch is hit deep to left field again, even deeper, but in the upper deck. Again, but Serve got around on two curveballs. One ball, two strikes. Pitch is strike three, swinging. Serve strikes out, and that's the fourth strikeout of the ball game. Strikeouts for Hal Woodishek. And here's Bill Scarron. Scarron bounced to the third baseman in the second inning. Pitch to the Moose is hit on the ground to second baseman. Billy Gardner up on two hops. Over to Beck there. That's two outs. Moose went after the first pitch and bounced out to the second baseman. Here's Gil McDougall, who walked in the second inning. Nothing to score. Last night, the young left-hander Jim Cott was pitching a real fine baseball for Washington. Then, after Mantle homered, he developed a wild streak. Walked three, hit two, gave up a triple to McDougall. But that's a youngster that's going to do real well. There's a foul down the left field line out of play. I was talking with Tal Arbor the other day, and he said that Cott is a kid that can't miss. He's very impressed with his easy motion and delivery. One strike on McDougall. Fastball low outside, ball one. 1-1. Pitch is hit on the ground at third. Harmon Killebrew up with the ball. Over to Beck there for the out. And that's the first time the Yankees have been retired 1-2-3 in the ball game. Nothing across in the bottom of the fourth inning. And the score at the end of 4 full innings. The Yankees have no runs on 3 hits and no errors. Washington no runs, 2 hits and 1 error.
Now, this is Bob Delaney, and we're on the go again with the rest of this afternoon's ball game brought to you by the Atlantic Refining Company and your neighborhood Atlantic dealer, the folks who help keep your car on the go.
Atlantic keeps your car on the go. For business, for pleasure, in any kind of weather. Atlantic keeps your car on the go. When you want to go
is taking on very much the same pattern as last night. Both ball clubs scoreless here at the end of 4 innings. Al Woodishick has throttled the Yankees, and Bob Turley, after a rocky beginning, has kept the Washington ball club at bay. Moving now into the top of the 5th inning. And Woodchick comes to the plate to lead off. Turley, the end of the windup on the first pitch. Swung on a slow roller foul up the third base line. Fields the ball and throws it right back into the game. Clary coaching at third base for Washington and Sam Mealy at first. Billy Gardner is on deck. Washington has 2 hits. The Yankees have picked up 3. The pitch swung on, hit sharply on the ground to shortstop. Kubek up with it cleanly, goes to first base in time, and there's one away. Red Barber is on hand to carry on the play-by-play for you, so let's go to Red as Billy Gardner steps to the plate. Billy has one of the 2 base hits. Red?
Right-hand hitter, batting slightly above 300 right now. He's been doing a very good job for Washington since they got him from Baltimore. Takes the curve for a strike. He has the most hits on the ball club, 43. Allison is next with 39. Change of pace, high inside, 1-1. Baltimore thought that they were able to trade him for Catcher Courtney with the emergence of their fine rookie second baseman, Mark Reading. Ball is high. Ball 2. 2-1. Joe Paparella back at the plate. John Rice at first. Al Smith, who is a freshman umpire, is at second. And Ed Runge over at third. Paparella is the senior man of this crew. A hot line foul down the outside third base. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2-2. Shirley pitching in a deliberate tempo. Using a slight pumping delivery. As a curveball that is hit high out to left field, it's an easy chance to serve. He's under it. He has it. Joe has 2 away. And the rookie center fielder, Dan Bobek. B-O-B-B-E-K. Left-hand hitter. Move him outfield around foot right. Another sign just went up on the Yankee big board out there in back of right center field. There's new Yankee ticket outlets at Weber Heilbronner stores. That's in addition to the ticket office in the mezzanine in Grand Central and the one here at the stadium. Change of pace is outside, ball 1. Shirley, for a couple of years, you know, used the no windup, which he got from Lawson. And he's not gone back to a full windup, but it's sort of halfway between. Pitch is low outside, ball 2. I know that Bob feels that he's more relaxed now using some sort of a windup. His pitching coach, Eddie Lopez, feels the same way. But they don't want him to use a full windup because they wish nothing to get in the front of his eyes and his target. When he used to use a full windup before he went to the no windup, the full windup used to jerk his head for a split second off the plate, and he felt it added to his wildness. 2-0 pitch. Fastball high inside, ball 3. 2 out. Nobody on. Bob walked in the first inning and then settled down. Now he's in a hole, 3-0.
line. Curley studies the sign. Rocks, deals, high outside, ball 4. First man he's walked since the first inning, and the fourth man he's walked in the game. And this gets Bob Allison up, right-hand hitting right fielder, who was the American League rookie of last year. Big fellow that they signed off the campus of the University of Kansas. Shaded around toward left. There's a high foul that is hit down the left field line and into the stands. Strike one. Allison has been studying about going back in the winter and doing some more college work at Kansas, but he hasn't as yet. Art Ditmar of the Yankees is very definitely, he takes a winter term every year. He's on his way toward his degree. Is attending American International College at Springfield. Serve it high outside. Ball one. Ball and a strike. Too hard. Runner at first. Better to go on anything. Nothing doing. Curley comes set. Checks the runner with a head bob. Pitches, serve in for a strike. The only move that a pitcher can make when he is in position with a man on his first base, that is a move and not pitch, is the head motion. We had two balks out here in the second game with Baltimore. One was called on Ditmar because he twisted his shoulder, which is a move to decoy the runner. And the other balk was called on Wilhelm because he bent a knee. Big right-hander throws to first. The runner goes as the pitch down to second base, and he's out. Howard to Richardson, an attempted steal by Dobek. Howard made quite a throw because that was a change of pace that Curley threw. He went down on the ideal pitch. But Howard has a great arm, and he showed it right there because he was throwing at a disadvantage. When he let the ball go, I thought that the runner was going to miss. Two. Nothing across, and the score in the 4.5 innings is Washington nothing and New York nothing. You know, sometimes the way your car performs can be downright embarrassing, especially if it's been stalling frequently or idling rough, or possibly doesn't have the get-up-and-go you're accustomed to. But your trouble, you know, could be a dirty carburetor, a condition that can affect any car, old or new. Now, here's how it happens. Exhaust fumes and minute particles of dirt can get by your air cleaner and build up deposits inside along the lower carburetor walls. Even a small amount of these deposits can cause the throttle plate to feed the wrong mixture of air and gasoline to your engine. You get rough performance and actual gasoline waste. But a dirty carburetor is one embarrassment you can forget about if you use new Atlantic Imperial gasoline. You see, Atlantic Imperial actually goes to work cleaning out the deposits in your carburetor as you drive. What's more, it keeps your carburetor clean, puts more pleasure back into driving. So, to end stalling, rough idling, and gasoline waste due to a dirty carburetor, use Atlantic Imperial, the gasoline that cleans your carburetor and keeps it clean. To the bottom of the fifth inning, Bobby Richardson leading off for the Yankees. Then Bob Curley and Tony Kubek. Bobby hitless in 1/5 of the plate. chick. Picking up the sign from Earl Batty. The wind up in the first pitch. Fastball is outside, ball one. Rich, next delivery is over the inside corner for a called strike, 1-1. Armin Killebrew, the third baseman, at shortstop is Sal Dialso. At second base, Billy Gardner. At first base, Julio Becker. The 1-1 delivery, swung on, hit foul on one out to Francis Rossetti at third base. A 1-ball, 2-strike count. Bobby Richardson leading off of the Yankees fifth. A scoreless ball game. Two more tomorrow. First game will be a 1:30 start, which is a change from the usual 2 o'clock start. We get the Sunday doubleheaders, but that's the law on Sunday, and it does not apply on holidays. 1-ball, 2 strikes. The left-hander's 1-2 pitch. Swung on, a little pop-up. Shortstop Valdivielso is under it and makes the catch. One away. Red?
Now we have the Yankee pitcher, Bob Turley. Walking up to the plate. The Red Sox come in here this next weekend, friends. Friday night, Saturday, and a doubleheader Sunday. And the White Sox come along Monday night, June 6th. A week from tomorrow night, Tuesday afternoon. Then Wednesday night, the 8th. Thursday afternoon. 2-night games for the White Sox, the 6th and the 8th of June. Shirley takes a pitch inside. Ball one. The Cleveland series starts with a night game Friday, June 10th. Ladies' Day on Saturday, the 11th, and a Sunday doubleheader, the 12th. That's 2 weeks from today. No score. Shirley takes a strike, and it's 1-1. Swings has a ground ball softly back to the mound. The pitcher throws over to first, and Shirley is out. 2 down, last to the 5th. And the last Yankee to get on, 2 back for the base on balls in the 3rd inning. Now up. Tony has a single on the walk. Looks him over and pitches and has a ground ball hit to the first baseman, Becker, who tosses to the pitcher covering, and the Yankees go down in order. And Woodisek has retired now the last 9. Totals at the end of 5. Washington, no runs, 2 hits, 1 error. New York, no runs, 3 hits, no errors. And before some other matters, we will pause for station identification.
1450 on the radio dial, WOKO, Albany.
Goes out to right field, replacing Roger Maris. 20 minutes before the game started, just as the Senators were concluding their batting of their infield and outfield, a loose fungo bat hit Maris on the back of his left leg. And he started the ball game, but I would have to hazard the opinion with Lopez going out there now that the area has gotten sore and the leg must have slipped. But we will get an official word on that. Couplet, who is back after being father of the bride yesterday on the PA, is talking about where to get tickets for these big games coming up the next few weeks. And you can get them at the Yankee Stadium every day of the season, the Yankees Midtown office, in the mezzanine of Grand Central Terminal. You can stop in at any one of the 12 conveniently located Weapon, Harbor, clothing stores in the greater New York area, or you can order by mail. And if by mail, just send your name and address along with your check or money order to Ticket Manager, Yankee Stadium, Bronx 51, New York. Box seats, fuel priced at $3.50 each, reserve seats at $2.50, taxes included. And please add 25 cents to your total order for mailing charge. And your ticket will be sent back to you promptly. All right, no score, and Turley now is going to take on Washington here in the 6th inning. Allison, Lemon, and Killebrew, the big bats. And Allison hits the first pitch, a pop fly to short left field. Serve comes charging in, and gets there for the out.
off the 2. Gets to the third strike, top to second. All of these hitters here for Washington in the 6th inning, if they get their pitch, can hit it tomorrow. Lemon is tied with Marriott. Most homers 10. Remember that Hector Lopez is in right field. Mantle remains in center. Serve is in left. Double pump. Swings and has a high fly ball hit into left field. Curves goes by, close to the stand. Third, she has it. Lemon is out. But for a couple of seconds, he frightened some of the faithful out here at the stadium when the ball began to soar high and far out toward left. And Harmon Killebrew, who hasn't been up officially, walked in the 1st inning and was struck with a pitch in the 4th. Ball 2. 2-0. Shirley kick. Now nod. Pump. Down a curve. Inside. Ball 3. Looks down to third base coach Clary to see if manager Lavagetto anything in mind, or they want to let him hit 3-0 or what. No score. 2 out, nobody on. 6th inning. Fastball high inside. Ball 4, and Killebrew is on for a 3rd straight time. This is the 5th walk given up by Shirley. Harmon has gained 2 of them. And Becker, who is off the 2. We just had the official report that Marriott went out because his left ankle began to stiffen up. The fungo bat that accidentally struck him was thrown by Pete Raymond. And the thing we wanted to know from the training room is that Marriott is expected to play tomorrow. Becker rounds the ball off outside first base, strike 1. To serve with 3 on to end the 1st inning. Then after Killebrew had been hit by a pitch to start the 4th, he hit for a double play. 2 out, Killebrew first. John not holding the back closely. Didn't expect Killebrew to be running. Change of pace on the outside. 1-1. Ball on the strike. Ball 2. Charlie is suddenly beginning to go with more slow stuff. He's been primarily throwing the ball hard. First half of the game. Count. 2 out. Charlie set pitches. Low ball 3. 3-1. Pitch, swings and misses. Let him have a fastball. Right 3-2. No score, an automatic run and hit. 3-2 pitch is swung on, lined out to center field, and it's a base hit. And it bounced out of Mantle's glove and up in the air, but he recovered, and around the third base goes Killebrew, who was running with the pitch. He was going there anyhow. So McHale lines one into center, and this is the third hit for Washington. And here is Earl Batty, who got the second one in the fourth inning, now coming up. Right-hand hitter, runners at first and third. No score game. Shirley stands off the rubber. Getting his uniform comfortable and loose around him. Now steps on the rubber, takes the beat, breath, exhales. Sign from Howard. Pitching position, delivers. Low inside, ball one. That is 1 for 2 today. The deal. Quick swinging. There was a slider thrown hard up around the armpits on the outside of the plate. 1-2. So far, Shirley has thrown nothing but hard pitches of the three that he's delivered to Batty. Now he has the count advantage. 1-2. Killebrew is the runner at third. Beckero just singled. Here's the man at first. Down is holding the bag at first. Beckero can run. Shirley in a set position. Runners in front and behind him. Delivers the fastball on the outside. 2-2. 2 balls to strike. Set to zeros on the scoreboard. Kelly ready. Deals. Fastball swung on and missed. He put it right down in there. He went to his foul when he had to. Comes up with his fourth strikeout. Leaves 2 on, no run. 1 hit. So the score at the end of 5 1/2. The Sunday single. Washington nothing and New York nothing.
You've heard it said the best things in life are free. In fact, I've said it several times in the last 4 or 5 days. Well, we've mentioned all the various things that are free, and they're wonderful. What about your family car, though? That's not free, but it's certainly one of life's best things. A car is a special joy, particularly when it's performing well. Is yours? You know, lots of little things can throw it off. A weak spark plug or a dirty carburetor. Oh, yes, dirt gets into your carburetor, all right. Exhaust fumes and other air particles can escape your air cleaner and collect deposits along the carburetor wall, causing an improper mixture of air and gasoline. Stalling, rough idling, and gasoline waste are the common results. But this problem doesn't have to affect the performance of your car. Today, Atlantic Imperial Gasoline actually cleans your carburetor as you drive and keeps it clean. See if your engines would run a little smoother? But use Atlantic Imperial Gasoline. It could be the answer. Well, the Yankee fans like to see a little action here now as we have a scoreless ball game moving into the bottom of the 6th inning, and Mickey Mantle
fielder Dobak is well over into right center. Mickey swings, hits the ball out to right field, and this is right above last night. We had a no-score game last night. Battle first up last in the sixth, a home run into the right center field bleachers. A no-score game today. Battle first up last in the sixth, hitting a home run in the lower right field seat. And they say that lightning doesn't hit in the same place twice. Well, it sure did today following last night. I bet you Mel Allen over on TV just suddenly backed off and said, "Pull, boys, how about that?" That's number 6 for Mickey. And that is a thing that's almost hard to believe, isn't it? Same thing last night. First up last to the 6th. First run of the ball game with a home run to the opposite field. Same thing again today. And both of them tremendously hit. Real. So the news is around the league that Mr. Mantle is out of his slump. Hector Lopez is up. Takes a curve in for a called strike. Whittaker right back with another curve for a called strike 2. Lopez replaced Maris this inning. Fastball outside. Ball 1. Well, that is really an oddity. Lopez hit a foul ball outside first. There were 2 differences last night. Cup was the pitcher, and the count on Mantle was 2 strikes. Today, Whittaker is the pitcher, and Mickey hit the first pitch. Lopez with that overly close man. 1-0 favor the Yankees. Curve low inside, ball 2. Pitch, curve swung on, hit toward the right field corner, and it's a base hit. Bounces in for a ground rule double. So Hector Lopez gets the ground rule double to right, and he gets a chance to get back in there. Hit number 5 for the Yankees. Now we have Elston Howard, who is 1 for 2, had a neat hit-and-run single, first inning. The Washington bullpen is now at work. A pitch gets away from Body and down to third base is Lopez. That seemed to be a fastball that was sailing a little, but a fastball is charged against the catcher. So Lopez is now the runner at third, nobody out. 1-0 New York. Crowd out here is electrified by Mantle's home run. And I think a lot of people are still putting together the fact that this is the same way it went up last season. No-score game, Mickey first up in the 6th inning both times, home run. And both of them opposite field homers. Infield is up, but nobody out on the play on the runner. Pitch to Howard. He swung on as a ground ball to the shortstop. They hold Lopez at third. Valdivieso throws Howard out at first, and we have 1 down, and the runner remaining at third. Bob Serve, 0 for 2, is now coming in, and they are playing the infield tight once more. Swinging. the base of the left field pitch and bounced in. The ground rule cover, which of course scores Lopez. He's on at home. Serve is looking down there. When he saw the ball, it was into his feet, so he was thinking he had a home run. If the ground rule double to left, the serve really pulled it. First the base hit and an RBI for him, and the Yankees are now ahead 2-0. Here's Bill Skowron. The Moose is 0 for 2. He's been wallowing in a slump. The pitch is in the dirt, back to the stands, and Serge goes over to third base on the wild pitch. So just as young Jim Cott got into trouble in the 6th inning last night, Wittechek has had the same fate before him in the 6th inning this afternoon. Manager Lavagello is on his way out of the Washington dugout. He's headed for the mound. And he motions for the bullpen, and he is taking Wittechek out. And of course, the count of 1 ball and no strikes charge will have to be assumed by the incoming pitcher. Well, say that lightning doesn't jump out of the same jug, but boy, it did. I mean, that's rather an eerie feeling. Mantle first up in a no-score game, and the 6th last night, a home run to right field. First up in a no-score game, last of the 6th inning today, home run to right field. And then the wheels beginning to turn forcibly in both cases. Now, as the bullpen man comes marching in, let's take a look at the other scores for you. Get you up to date. Boston is down at Baltimore playing a doubleheader. Brooks Robinson in the 6th inning has homered for the Orioles with 2 on. And at the end of 6 1/2, it is Baltimore fighting to hold on in first place. They're fine young players. 6, and the Red Sox 1. Sullivan pitching this one for Boston and Steve Barber for Baltimore. Dick Hyde, who wears glasses and throws where that submarine delivery is coming in for Washington. At the end of 3 innings, first of a doubleheader, Cleveland at Detroit. It is 3-2 in favor of Detroit. All the runs have been a result of home runs. Wait a minute. Francona has homered in the 4th for Cleveland with 1 on. So Cleveland is now ahead at base 4-3. Got Moxley out of it. Now, Wittechek walks away, and the manager also. And Dick Hyde takes over. End of an inning out at Kansas City. Score going for Chicago. Johnson for Kansas City is 1-0 in favor of the Athletics. In the National League single game, Philadelphia is at Pittsburgh. At the end of 6th inning, it is Pittsburgh 7 and Philadelphia 4. Milwaukee at Cincinnati is a 2-2 tie at the end of 4 1/2. San Francisco at St. Louis, it is 1-0 San Francisco, ended 3 1/2. And time is now being called on there because of rain. At the end of 4 1/2 innings, Los Angeles at Chicago is leading 3-0. This not accounted for the runs with a home run with 2 on the 4th inning. Well, Dick Hyde taking over. There's the announcement by Bob Shepard. Hyde throws 3/4 underhand and underhand. You do not see that delivery too frequently. 2 years ago, he was one of the top relief men in the business. Come in and get you out. All right, here's the status. The Yankees have 2 runs in and lead 2-0. Last of the 6th inning, 1 man out. A runner serves at third base. Down is up. The count is 1-0. And it's up to Hyde to have responsibility no matter whether he walks in and strikes him out or anything else. Pitch is swung on and hit out to left field. And Lemon comes on and can't get it. Tries to to come in. Let's see, Cazzetti brings him around third base, brings him around. Here's the relay, and he is out. The center fielder, Dobby, got over and got the ball. Threw it, Billy Gardner was in on the relay. I don't know whether the shortstop also was in on it too or not. And Batty had him at the plate, so it's a triple for Skowron, and he's out trying to make it an inside the park home run. And Cazzetti was bringing him in all the time. Frank gambled that it would take a perfect relay to get him, and that's what happened. So a run is in, however, and it is 3-0 on the out for the Moose and a triple. It was a hard line drive that Lemon tried to shoestring in left field. Up now is Mike Dougal, and takes the curve over for a called strike. 3-0 favor New York. Run is tossed to Woodisik. They hit, of course, to Hyde. McDougal takes strike two. Hyde underhanded. And it is officially scored. The center fielder to the second baseman. I know I saw Gardner make the throw to the plate to bat it. I wasn't sure whether because I was watching Cazzetti's sign, whether the shortstop had thrown it on to the second baseman. But no, it was 8-4-2. Well, tomorrow, you think you can stand 2 6 innings? 9 pitches, underhand, a curve on the outside ball, 2-2. Two strikes. Two men out, nobody on. The 2-2 pitch is a curve just outside. In case you may be wondering, friends, with the ball hit to left field, why the second baseman made the relay to the plate. The ball got through Lemon, and the shortstop was doing the thing he should. He was charging into left field, so in the event that he was needed out there, he just kept on going. 3-2 pitch, low inside ball 4. And then the center fielder came over. You see, the ball had gotten through the left field. The center fielder retrieved the ball in left center. And by the time he came up with the ball, the shortstop was too deep to be practically useful, but the second baseman had alertly come over to be the relay man, and that was what it was. First, based on balls from McDougal. Here's Bobby Richardson, who is 0 for 2. Outfield is back into right on Bobby. They're giving him all of left center. High pitches, and Bobby swinging fouls it off. Strike one. 0-1. One strike. Quick blow inside. Ball 1. Hyde is really throwing that ball from almost down on the ground. It's almost rarely seen delivering. One ball, one strike. There's a ground ball hit to third. Killebrew knocks it down, recovers, throws to second base in time for the fourth on McDougal. Gardner making the put out. Two. The Yankees pick up 3 runs on 4 hits. That's 4 on a wild pitch, no errors, and the total at the end of the sixth, 3-7-0 for New York and 0-3-1 for Washington. Well, this would be a very apt time right now to pause for station identification.
1460 on the radio dial, your station for music, news, and sports in the Tri-Cities area. This is WOKO, Albany, New York. Current temperature is 73 degrees, 2 minutes before the hour of 4.
The first game, Boston down at Baltimore, is now at the end of 7. And it is Baltimore, the first place club now, 6, and Boston 1. Cleveland, on the strength of Francona's fourth-inning home run, got 3 in the fourth, and now leads at Detroit 5-3. That is the first of 2. It is 1-0 Kansas City over Chicago, end of an inning. National League time call at the end of 6.5 innings. That's an official ball game. It is Pittsburgh 7 and Philadelphia 4. And the 5.5 single, Milwaukee is Cincinnati 2-2. 3.5, San Francisco 1, St. Louis nothing. At the end, 5.5, Los Angeles 4, and Chicago nothing. The game San Francisco St. Louis at the end of 3.5 innings is being held up right now because of rain, and of course that is not an official game. All right, Valdivioso is pushed up and takes the pitch inside for a ball. Shirley had given him an inside pitch to start him with while I was checking the score, so the count is now 2 balls and no strikes. It is 3-0 in favor of New York. 2-0 pitch is over for the strike. Benny Green is on deck, apparently to hit for relief pitcher Hyde. In the 7th inning, Lavagetta has no choice but to go to his bench behind 3-0. There's a bunt effort for a base hit that's fouled off back over into the visitor's dugout. The Yankees had bunched their hits today. They had 3 hits in the first inning. They got nothing. Subak got thrown out stretching. But then the last of the 6th, Mantle, with an opposite field home run, woke them up. They added 2 more. There's a ball hit to right center field. Mantle going over, and makes the catch. He simply outran the ball. You heard the crowd jump for that roar when Mickey scored it because it looked as though it wasn't going to be caught. Now the announcement that Lenny Green is going to hit for Hyde. Left-hand batter. Left-hand hitter that is played into right field. Runs up and punches the ball and misses it completely. Strike 1. The Yankees are keeping a man hot in the bullpen. Strike 1 pitch. Curveball is high. 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Slightly tripped then as he delivered the ball, and he's busy smoothing out the mound. But his strike caught. Big right-hander delivers, and Green swinging at the high fly ball right out to where Hector Lopez is playing in right field. There's the catch. And we have 2 down. Now, Billy Gardner walks the double and a fly ball to left. Most hits on the Washington team. Takes the fastball high. Ball 1. Big fella ready. Shirley. Fields. Fastball inside. Ball 2. 12. third. McDougal up with it. Ball was sharply hit. There's the throw. Plenty of time. Gardner's out. Guys in order. Score end of 6 1/2. The Yankees 3 and the Senators nothing.
Ever hear of a gasoline that doubles as a mechanic? In a way, Atlantic Imperial gasoline does just that. Here's how it works. When you drive, exhaust fumes and other air contaminants escape your air cleaner and collect in the carburetor in the form of deposits. Now, even a small amount of deposits can cause an improper mixture of air and gasoline. When this happens, stalling, rough idling, and actual gasoline waste result. Now, one way to handle a dirty carburetor is to get under the hood and clean it manually. But why go to all that trouble and expense when Atlantic Imperial does the job for you without even raising the hood? Atlantic Imperial actually cleans your carburetor as you drive and keeps it clean. Now, with a clean carburetor, you get proper mixture of gasoline and air. You'll enjoy smooth engine performance, greater gasoline economy. Give it a try. Use Atlantic Imperial gasoline to keep your car on the go. Clevenger is the new pitcher. 1-2 for the year.
Terry will be the first hitter, then two back to Matt. Last half of the seventh. Doubleheader tomorrow. Remus and Stobbs will be the starters for Washington. Terry and Ditmar will be the starters for New York. And then after the doubleheader, the Yankees go to Baltimore for 3-night games. And they're home Friday night. The Red Sox Saturday afternoon. And a doubleheader Sunday a week from today. Then follows a tremendous week with the White Sox in for 4 games, 2 of them at night, Monday and Wednesday. The Indians in for 4 games, Friday night, and a double Sunday. Terry takes the pitch to play down in there for a strike. They're not playing into full. The outfield is laid back into right. Rob Springs hit the high fly ball that the second baseman, Billy Gardner, is under, out in very short right field. Has the catch for the out. One down. And here is Tony Kubek. 1 for 2. Single and a walk. Clevenger delivers, and it's in for the strike. A little bit off the fastball. 7-1. Paul right-hander deals, and Kubek hits a high pop fly into short right center. Second baseman Gardner is out under this one, and he has it. So, two pop up for the second. 2 men retired, and the hitter is Mantle. They're 2 for 3, and he's getting an ovation. Now Ricky is up hitting left-handed against this relief right-hander. And Springer does not get a low inside curve, strike 1. Mantle broke this 0-0 game when he led off the last of the 6th with a home run into right field, just as he did last evening. Third is good for a called second strike, just above the knees on the inside. Dave Biston, who played up by Paparella, a little bit about that. Clevenger now with 2 strikes on him. Pumping. Delivers. And Mantle swings at the high drive. Deep back toward right field. Allison is back. Waiting at the edge of the wall and makes the catch. So nothing across. And the score at the end of 7 is New York 3, Washington nothing.
Does it cost to clean a carburetor? Well, for regular users of New Atlantic Imperial gasoline, not a penny. That's because New Atlantic Imperial is especially designed to clean your carburetor as you drive. Yes, with your very first tankful, New Atlantic Imperial starts to remove the troublesome deposits that normally collect on the carburetor walls. Make it a habit to use New Atlantic Imperial gasoline in your car. Do away with stalling, rough idling, and gasoline waste caused by a dirty carburetor. That's Atlantic Imperial. The gasoline that cleans your car as you drive and keeps it clean. Atlantic Imperial.
Top of the 8th inning. Shirley delivers a pitch that is low, ball 1. Dan Dobak's the hitter. He's 0 for 1. He's walked twice. Windup, the next pitch, inside, ball 2. On the Atlantic scoreboard in the American League at the end of 8 innings in the first game of a doubleheader, Baltimore leads Boston 6-1. After 4 innings, Cleveland and Detroit are tied 5-5. Chicago and Kansas City at the end of 2. The Athletics lead the White Sox 1-0. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Dobek. Takes a strike, 2-1. And the National League after 6 innings, the Pirates 7, the Phillies 4. And the 6th, Milwaukee and Cincinnati are tied at 2-2. And the 4, San Francisco and St. Louis tied 1-1. 2-1 pitch. Swung out, a little pop-up in the shallow left center field. Mantle and Serve are both after it. Serve makes the catch for out number 1. And the 6th innings, LA 4, Chicago nothing. The game is now in the 7th inning. Bob Allison, the batter. And here's Phil Rizzuto. Nobody on. Pitch to Allison is popped in the air in short left field. Kubek back, Serve coming in. Kubek backing up, makes the catch in short left field. And that's 2 up and 2 down here in the top of the 8th inning. And it'll bring up Jim Lemon, who was called out on strikes, popped to second and flied out deep to left field. The Yankees lead. Same 2 teams meet tomorrow in a big Memorial Day doubleheader starting at 1:30 p.m. On deck is Harmon Killebrew. Curly's first pitch to Lemon is a curve in the dirt, ball 1. Settled down since the first inning when he walked 3 men. Fastball is lined to left field. There's a base hit. Jim Lemon lines a single over Kubek's head, and that's the 4th hit off Shirley in the ballgame. It brings up Harmon Killebrew, who's been on base each time, walked twice, and hit by a pitch ball. First base against Lemon with 2 out here in the top of the 8th, and the Yankees leading 3-0.
Check Lemon leading off first. Pitch to Killebrew is a curve high, ball one. Curly sets again. His pitch is a little bit low, ball 2-0. Bob's having a little bit of trouble with Killebrew today. Trying to pitch a little extra careful to the slugging center, the third baseman. Two balls, no strikes. On deck is Julio Betcher. Outfield deep and just about straight away on Killebrew. Here's Curly, stretch position. Pitch is hit deep to left field, way back there, but curving foul way in the upper deck. And Killebrew standing with his hands on his hips halfway down the first base line. Just watch that ball curve foul. That ball was really tagged. Harmon kind of uppercut the ball, and when he gets hold of it, he hits him like the old Bambino. High and deep. The official paid attendance, 21,516, and the total including servicemen, 22,099. Two balls, one strike on Killebrew, 2 men out. The stretch and the pitch is hitting the ground of the shortstop. Kubek up with it over to Richardson for the fourth play. And that's all for Washington in the top of the eighth. No runs, 1 hit, no Yankee errors, 1 man left. The score at the end of 7.5 innings, the Yankees 3 and the Senators nothing.
When you hop in your car and you want the engine to start right up to idle smoothly, you want to...
2 balls, 1 strike on Killebrew, 2 men out. The stretch and the pitch is hitting the ground of the shortstop. Kubek up with it over to Richardson for the fourth play. And that's all for Washington in the top of the eighth. No runs, 1 hit, no Yankee errors, 1 man left. The score at the end of 7.5 innings, the Yankees 3 and the Senators nothing.
When you hop in your car and you want the engine to start right up to idle smoothly, you want it to give good performance while you're on the go. But many times, it's the little things that keep an engine running at its best, like a clean carburetor. Today's Atlantic Imperial gasoline is especially designed to clean your carburetor as you drive, and to keep it clean. A clean carburetor means smoother performance and greater gasoline economy. Make every day a good day. Start off with Atlantic Imperial gasoline to keep your car on the go. 3-0 as we go to the last half of the eighth inning. The Yankees leading Washington as they try to make it 2 straight. Ralph House, who has been in charge of the Yankees, has seen a fine pitching performance last night by Jim Coates. And up to this point anyway, an equally fine performance by Bob Turley. In the first inning, you might not have given a chance for Turley being around this late in the ballgame. He walked the first 2 hitters and was in deep trouble, but managed to wriggle out of that jam, and since that time has had things pretty much his own way, getting the ball over the plate, getting a lot of mileage out of a change-up curveball that he's been throwing, mixing it in with a fastball, but more important than anything, getting the ball over the plate. Actually, over the last 3 or 4 ball games, the Yankee pitching staff, which appeared to be in pretty tough shape, has improved tremendously with performances by Ford, Coates, and now Turley. Ford and Turley are certainly key men as far as the Yankees' hopes in the 1960 pennant chase are concerned. There's ball 1 into Hector Lopez to replace Roger Maris in right field. Maris found Woodchick a rather tough guy to do business, and House made the switch. Ball 2 inside. It's hard to say Woodchick, which is the correct pronunciation. You tend to say Woodchick. That always makes you think of how many chucks could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. 2 balls, no strikes. The pitch is a curve outside. of the afternoon. Delivers 3-1. Swung on and missed. A full count. 3-2. Woodisher started. Then Hyde had to bail him out in the bottom of the sixth. But the Yankees got all their 3 runs. And Hyde went out to the pinch hitter, and Clevenger came in. A ball 3 and strike 2 count. So Hector Lopez. The pitch is low. Ball 4, and Lopez is on. Howard comes to the plate. Here's Phil Rizzuto now.
Nobody out. Becker holds first against Lopez. Clevenger sets the pitch to Howard is a curve low, ball 1. Sets the sign from batting. Pitch is hit on the ground to the shortstop. Valdivieso beats the ball. It's an error for Jose Valdivieso as he tried to get rid of the ball too soon. He got to it, and they had the possible shot for the double play. And he tried to throw it before he had it, and the ball scooted right out of his bare hand and rolled over towards third base. All hands are safe. Lopez at second. Howard at first. Here's Bob Serve. Bounced the short, struck out, and then doubled. A solid line drive that hit the base of the fence in the left field corner and kicked into the stand. Nobody out. Pitch to third, curve low, ball 1. Ken Hadley on deck. Is low, ball 2-0. Ken Here's the stretch. Pitch is swung at it. This strike one. What a ripple Bob Serve had at that high fastball. Wow, he's got to unwind himself. Drove in his 19th run of the year with that double in the 6th inning. And it was his second double of the year. Pitches his bat and bounces into the stand. Bird was trying to duck a high inside fastball. 2-2 to count with nobody out and the Yankees leading 3-0 here in the bottom of the 8th. On deck, bringing a couple of bats. Bill Starrin, after that long run, trying to get an inside the park homer, feels a little sick to his stomach, and Ralph Houck, who was managing the club in the absence of Casey Stengel, decided to rest the moose. 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 went after a high fastball. Didn't get it. That's one away. Wait a minute, Ken Hadley had started up there. Now comes back to the bench. And let's see what the story is here. Hadley was on deck swinging a couple of bats. And maybe Starrin realized with the ducks on the pond, men on base, he might want to get up there and hit, but we'll wait and see. Nobody has come out of the dugout as yet. McDougal is coming out, but he's on deck. He's due to be the next batter after whoever is coming up to hit now. We see Hadley fingering his first baseman's glove, but we do not see anybody coming out. And it's Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra is being called out as a pinch hitter. A pretty shrewd move by Ralph Houck. He can use Berra as a pinch hitter and still put Hadley in the game at first base. Runners at first and second, one out. And Yogi, who's batting an E325 with a double, 4 homers and 16 runs, batted in the batter. The pitch to Yogi, outside ball one. Skowron had bounced to third, bounced to second, and then tripled to left field as Lemon tried to make a shoestring catch on a sinking liner, and as Moose tried to score all the way, he was thrown out on a fine relay. But I guess the run was a little bit too much for Skowron. One ball, no strikes on Yogi. The stretch, the pitch is popped in the air to left field. Jim Lemon moving under it and makes the catch for the second out. Clevenger pitched Yogi away, and he tried to go that way and popped out to short left field. Here's Gil McDougall, who's walked twice and bounced to third, 0 for 1. With a big lead at first base. Down at second, Hector Lopez. Now Billy Gardner runs over to run Lopez back. 2 men are out. Yankees lead 3-0. Same two teams meet tomorrow in a Memorial Day doubleheader starting at 1:30. Pitch is a curve, low outside, ball one. Remember, the Yankees are just 1 game behind in the all-important loss column. In other words, Baltimore in first place, 2.5 games over the Yankees, have lost 14. The Yankees have lost only 15. So that makes it a much closer race than it appears on paper. The pitch is hot foul out of play. 1-1 the count. Strike 2 out. The stretch and the pitch is pop foul out of play in the upper deck. Strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Is Bobby Richardson. Lopez leads off second. Howard off first. The stretch by Clevenger. The pitch is popped in the air to short right field. Gardner back. Allison in. And ahead might be a collision, but Allison makes the catch just as Gardner veered to his left at the last second. Oh, and Billy would have got the worst of that with big Bob Allison coming on. So for the Yankees in the bottom of the 8th, no runs, no hits. 1 Senate error, 2 men left to score at the end of 8 full innings. The Yankees 3, the Senators nothing, and we pause for station identification.
You are tuned to 1450 on the radio dial. This is WOKO, Albany, New York. 28 minutes and 20 seconds after the hour of 4.
Leading Cleveland 6-5 at the end of 5. Sigmund against Semprock. Pearsall and Francona have homered for Cleveland. Maxwell and Kess for Detroit. The White Sox have tied up Kansas City 1-1 at the end of 2.5. Moore against Johnson. In the National League, the Pirates are leading the Phillies 7-5 at the end of 7.5. Farrell against Green. Walters, Allison, and Curry homered for the Phillies. Mazeroski and Green for the Pirates. Milwaukee and Cincinnati tied 2-2 at the end of 6.5. Willie against Hook. Matthews and McMillan have homered in that one. The Giants and the Cardinals decide 1-1 at the end of 4 1/2. Jones against Jackson. And the Dodgers lead the Cubs 4-0 at the end of 7. Padres against Moorhead. Duke Snyder homered in the 4th with 2 on. Julio Becker, who lined to left, hit into a double play and single to center, leads off. Takes the pitch low, ball 1. For the Yankees. The pitch is over. Strike called. 1-1. The 1-1 pitch is outside. Ball 2. 2-1. On deck is Earl Batty. Is hit deep to right field. That one is gone. Out of this ballpark for a home run for Julio Becker. As he hit a high fastball into the right field seat. And many of you fans will remember that it was Julio Becker who ruined Bob Curley's bid for a no-hitter right here at Yankee Stadium when he dropped a little Texas leader in the short left field for the only hit off Curley in the ball game, and that came in the 9th inning. So it's a 3-1 ball game. And Ralph Houk is out to the mound. And it looks like Bob Curley has had it for today. After going 8 full innings, giving up just 4 hits and no runs, he gives up a leadoff home run to Julio Becker here in the top of the 9th. And Ralph Houk, who is managing the team, Casey Stengel is ill with a virus, has decided he will go no further with Curley, figuring that Bob has thrown an awful lot of pitches. He's walked 5 men, but he's had 3 and 2 on a lot of hitters. And there's the familiar leap over the low right field barrier of the bullpen by Ryan Duran. So Duran will be coming on. Curley 6-8 innings. He gave up 5 hits, walked 5, struck out 4, and has allowed 1 run. Curley, who settled down after being very wild in the first inning, walking 3, pitched himself a real fine ball game. And Ryan Duran coming on. Ryan 6 feet 1 inches tall, 195 pounds from San Antonio, Texas, making his 9th appearance of the year. He's won 1 and lost 1. And his 1 loss was to the Cleveland Indians on May the 10th. He last relieved May 23rd at Kansas City. Pitched just 1 inning, didn't give up any hits, walked 2, and struck out 3. He scored all 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mantle led off with a homer. Lopez doubled. Serve doubled to drive in Lopez. And then Skowron tripled. Driving in Serve. Curley leads. Gets a well-deserved round of applause from the fans here. And here's Ryan Duran firing in his 8 warm-up tosses. Pitching to Earl Batty, and then we'll wait to see what Cookie Lavighetto does. He has El Novallo as a pinch hitter. Pete Wisenan, one of his probable pinch hitters, was thrown out of the ball game in the very first inning by plate umpire Joe Paparella. Pete was sitting in the corner of the dugout getting on Paparella. Joe warned him once. Pete kept it up, and Paparella says, "Leave this game, young man." And Al Narragon is coming on. There's a fellow we forgot. He'll be batting for Earl Batty. Narragon is 1 for 12 this year, batting .083. Hasn't done much catching since Batty was acquired from the White Sox. He's a left-hand hitter. And you know he's got a tough job. He's been sitting on that bench for 8 innings. And suddenly he's called a pinch hit, and against who? Ryan Duran. That's why they say pinch hitting and relief pitching, the 2 toughest jobs in the big league. Nobody out here in the top of the ninth. The Yankees lead 3-1. Swings into that big slow windup. The first pitch is high, ball one. One ball, no strikes. Outside ball 2-0. On deck is El Novello, swinging a couple of bats. 2-0 pitch. Strike call. Fastball just above the knee. One strike, nobody out, and nobody on. Two-one pitch, low outside, ball 3. The count on Hal Narragon, batting for Earl Batty here in the top of the ninth inning. Now the 3-1 delivery is low, ball 4. And wait a minute, Dave Thornberry is coming out of the center of the dugout. They got some left-hand hitters on that bench. Gallo is still on deck. Dave Thornberry batting for Jose Valdivieso. Thornberry's batting .237, has 2 doubles and 3 runs batted in. 9 for 38 on the year. A left-hand hitter. At first base, talking with the first base coach Sam Neely, is Hal Narragon. Ken Hadley, who took over for Skowron at first, is playing in back of the round. The Yankees lead 3-1 here in the ninth inning. Here's a stretch by Duran. The pitch is a strike call. He fired that fastball right about belt high. Stretch by Duran. The pitch, outside, ball 1, 1-1. Howard calls time and runs out to the mound. Now Ellie comes back in the catcher's box. 1 ball, 1 strike. Slow working line, Duran out on the mound. To take plenty of time. There's the stretch. The pitch is low, ball 2. 2-1 the count. One thing for sure, it's always a thrill when Duran's pitching. Never a dull moment. Leading off first. The 2-1 pitch, low inside, ball 3. The count. Joe McDougal walks over towards the pitcher's box, says something to Duran, and pounds his glove. stretch. 3-1 pitch is fouled back out of play. 3-2 to count. Full count on the Faye Thornberry. Yankees lead 3-1 here in the top of the ninth. Nobody out and a runner at first base. Duran into that big, slow stretch. The pitch, way outside, ball 4. That ball was about 3 feet outside. Howard had to go way out after it. Down to second goes Narragon. At first is Faye Thornberry, and here's Elmer Vallow. Vallow batting for Tex Clevenger. Nobody out. And the tying run at first base. Gil McDougal moves over to the mound to talk with Duran. Howard now coming out to the mound. There is a possibility of a sacrifice here, but usually the visiting teams play to win the ball games, or at least try to win them, and they do not play for the tie on the road. Of course, the visiting team naturally would be on the road, but we'll see how Cookie Lavagetto, the skipper of the Senators, plays it. Situation, Senators have runners at first and second, nobody out. Ryan Duran came on to relieve Bob Turley after Turley had pitched a brilliant game and had given up a lead-off homer to Julio Betcher, leading off the ninth inning. All right, here's a stretch by Duran. The pitch to Vallow. Strike, a swing and a miss. Vallow almost fell down. He took such a hard cut. Nothing in one to count. And the pitch is outside, ball 1, 1 mile. We've got activity in both bullpens. In the Senators' bullpen, in the event they tie up the game and go into extra innings, or move ahead of the Yankees and force the Yankees to bat in the bottom of the ninth. In the Yankee bullpen, they have a couple of men loosening up. Here's the stretch. The pitch. There's a ground ball, base hit out the middle. And coming on to score is Narragon. Holding his second is Thornberry. Elmer Vallow hit a hard ground ball right past the legs of Ryan Duran and went right over the middle of second base. Narragon scored. Fielding by Mickey Mantle held Thornberry at second base. Vallow is at first. And for Vallow, that's his third run batted in. We're going to have a runner. Billy Consolo is going out to run for Elmer Vallow. Consolo running for Vallow and will probably stay in to play shortstop in the event he is needed. So there's a fellow who not too many days ago was wearing a Yankee uniform. Vallow, and he's come back to haunt them a little bit here today. All right, here's Billy Gardner, the Yankee infield playing way in, looking for the bunt. The stretch, the pitch is taken low inside, ball 1. The ball almost hit Gardner. Billy had squared around to bunt the ball. Kent Hadley is way in at first base, and McDougal is in at third. Gill cannot come in quite as far as Hadley because then Thornberry would be able to steal the bag. 3-2, the Yankees lead. 1 ball, no strikes on Billy Gardner. Here's the stretch. Inside ball 2, 2-0. Gardner looking over towards the Senator bench. Not even looking at the third base coach to give him the sign. He's looking right at Cookie Lavagetto. no strikes on Billy Gardner. Nobody out. Runners at first and second. Here's the stretch. The pitch. Low ball 3-0. No strikes on Gardner. On deck is Dan Dobek. There's a stretch, the pitch. Strike call, the fastball down the middle. Three balls, one strike. Runners at first and second. It's a 3-2 ball game. In the top of the ninth inning, the Yankees lead. Here's a stretch by Duran. The pitch. His bunt is foul at the plate. Strike two. It's a full count now on Billy Gardner. It was too close a pitch for Gardner to take. And it looked like Billy bent down a little bit. It could have been a little low. You got to protect the plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes now to count. Howard rubbing up a new ball. That last bunt attempt by Gardner pitched off Howard's foot. Three balls, 2 strikes, and nobody out. Tate Thornberry leading off second. Billy Consolo off third. Here's a stretch by Duran. The pitch. Howard inside ball 4. The bases are loaded, and here comes Ralph Houk. The bases are loaded with nobody out. The Yankees leading 3-2, and Ralph Houk is coming out of the Yankee dugout. Dan Dobek is due to be the batter, and then he'll be followed by Allison, Lemon, and Killebrew. Is calling for somebody out of the bullpen, a left-hander. He gave the signal with his left hand. We'll wait and see who will be coming out. Bobby Sands is coming on. As Ryan Duran pitched to 4 men, did not get anybody out. He walked 3 and gave up a base hit. Batoya is being called out to bat for Dan Dobek. Boy, the managerial wheels are really spinning right now on both teams. Rookie Lavagetto just about clearing his bench this inning. And Ralph Houk trying to counterattack with the switching of pitches. Shirley was quite reluctant to leave the mound. He figured he still had his good stuff. And, of course, Ralph Houk, who is managing in place of Casey Stengel, who is laid up with a virus, figured that Shirley might be tiring and called for the switch. Bobby Sands coming on 5'6", 154 pounds, making his 8th appearance of the year. He's won none and lost 1. Ryan Duran leads the mound. Bobby Sands being called on to try and stop a sudden uprising by the Washington Senators, who had come into the 9th inning, trailing the Yankees 3-0. But Julio Becerra led off with a homer. Ryan Duran came on, walked Al Narragon and Tate Thornberry. Then El Navallo, pinch hitting for Tex Clevenger, singled up the middle to drive in Narragon. Billy Gardner walked. The bases are loaded with nobody out. Dan Dobek was due to bat, but Cookie Lavagetto has inserted Reno Batoya, a right-hand hitter, to face Bobby Sands. And it's a 3-2 ball game. Now let's see how the Yankee infield will handle this situation. Lubeck is playing back at shortstop. Richardson back at second. Hadley back at first. And McDougal playing just about even with third base. All right, Reno Batoya steps into the batter's box. Batoya is batting .263. Base hit all year. He has 6 runs batted in. 15 for 57. Infield playing back. Here's the windup. The pitch to Batoya is swung and a missed, strike one. Reno went for the shot-breaking curveball down below the knees. On deck is Bob Allison. Bases are loaded. Here's the windup. In the dirt, ball 1-1-1. Dan's trying to pitch low to get Batoya to hit the ball in the dirt. Billy Gardner is at first base. Billy Consolo at second base. Fay Thornberry over at third base. The Yankees lead 3-2 in the top of the ninth inning with nobody out and a 1-1 count on Reno Batoya. A lot of fans had started for the exit, but they're all going back to their seats now. Here's the windup. Pop to right field. Holding up to Thornberry. Lopez makes the catch. Here comes Thornberry. The throw is going to be bad. And all runners advance. Hector Lopez tried to throw that ball all the way in on a fly, which enabled the runners at first and second to move up. And the throw was way down the third baseline, about 10 to 15 feet down the third baseline, enabling Thornberry to score. It's a sacrifice fly. RBI for Batoya, tying up the ball game. But now the Senators have the lead run down at third, and they're going to give Allison an intentional pass to load him up again and pitch to Jim Lemon. That run is charged to Ryan Duran. So Bob Shirley, who started the ball game, can neither be the winning nor losing pitcher. Ryan Duran cannot be the winning pitcher, but could be the losing pitcher. Here's the fourth ball being served up to Bob Allison. Allison gets an intentional pass, loading them up again. Ralph Hout now is coming out to the mound as Jim Lemon, a big right-hand hitter, is due to bat with Harmon Killebrew to follow. And maybe we'll get a right-hand pitcher coming on. Yes, they want another pitcher. Batoya hit to right field was not hit too deep. A good throw, and it would have been a mighty close play at the plate. Not saying he would have gotten him or not. And Hector Lopez, of course, trying to make a good throw, was a little over anxious and threw the ball all the way in on a fly and up towards third base. Johnny James is coming on. The fourth Yankee pitcher of the game, and the fourth Yankee pitcher here in the ninth inning. Shirley pitched to one man in the ninth inning. Duran pitched to 4 men. Shans pitched to 2 men, and now Johnny James is coming on. All right, Lemon steps into the batter's box. Johnny James ready on the mound. Here's the windup. The pitch is a curve low outside, ball 1. Lemon is the 8th man to bat for the Senators here this inning. The pitchers of record right now, Ryan Duran for the Yankees and Tex Clevenger for the Senators. Here's the pitch. A ground ball to third, McDougal up with a step on third, throws to first, double play. Oh, a major order double play ball hit to Gil McDougal. Gil caught the ball, stepped on third, and threw to first. Into the bottom of the ninth inning with the score tied 3-3 for the Senators in the top of the ninth. 3 runs on just 1 base hit. No 2 base hits. Said that. A homer by Becker and a single by Vallow. No Yankee errors. 2 men left to score at the end of 8 1/2 innings. Washington 3 and the Yankees 3.
Well, you know, even though that car of yours may be performing well today, future trouble may be building up without your even knowing it in the carburetor. Exhaust fumes and other air contaminants that filter through your air cleaner form deposits on the carburetor wall. The result? Loss of power, rough idling, and gasoline waste. But there's an easy way to prevent this right now. Just use new Atlantic Imperial gasoline. The gasoline that actually cleans your carburetor as you drive. For smooth, even performance all the time, it's Atlantic Imperial, the gasoline that cleans your carburetor and keeps it clean. Well, suddenly we have a tie ball game after a long top of the ninth inning in which the Senators got free. And it finally took Johnny James to come in and come up with just exactly what the Yankees needed. And that was the double play ball. Campolo has gone to short, replacing Valdivielso. Al Narragon will take over the catching duties. Ray Thornberry has gone to right field. Allison has gone into center field. And Don Lee is coming on to pitch. So there have been changes in the Washington lineup as we now have a brand new ball game as we go into the bottom of the ninth inning. As the ball game hits the 3-hour mark. Bobby Richardson, Johnny James is scheduled to bat, and then Tony Kubek. Right-hander Don Lee. Out taking his warm-up pitches with Hal Narragon. To be the winning pitcher and who pitched a very fine 8 innings until he gave up the home run to Becerra. Now is not involved at all in this ball game, although he pitched a whale of a game. But Ralph Houck apparently thought that after Becerra hit the home run, that he might be weakening. He's thrown a lot of pitches during the game, particularly in the early innings. Duran was brought on, but this was Ryan's day not to be able to get the ball over the plate. And the Senators finally came up with a tying run. Bobby Richardson leads off. As plate umpire Joe Paparella cleans up home plate. And we start the bottom of the ninth inning of a tie game.
John Lee is making his 8th appearance of the year. The first pitch is low, ball 1. Not won any or lost any. The pitch is popped in the air to the infield. Billy Controlo, the shortstop, moving under it. On the edge of the outfield grass, makes the catch. That's one away. 1 out. And Johnny James is coming out to bat. Man, what a spot he came into this ball game. Bases loaded, 1 out, and pitching to Jim Lemon. The batter, James, is 0 for 1. Don Lee out on the mound is 6 feet 4 inches tall and 200 pounds. Pitch to James is bunted. Off the box. Billy Gardner, throw to first. In time on a penny play by Billy Gardner. On a nice drag bunt by Johnny James, he dragged it past the diving Don Lee. Gardner had to come in, pick up the ball, and throw it on the dead run across his body and just hit mid-game. That's 2 away, and here's Tony Kubek. Tony singles, walks, counts to second, and pops to second. 2 out in the bottom of the ninth. The pitch to Kubek is low, ball 1. 3-3 to score. Pitch is low, ball 2. 2-0. On deck, Mickey Mantle. This is one of the reasons why this is going to be a close pennant race. No team is an easy mark this year. The pitch is hit high in the air to right field. Thornberry's got plenty of room under it and makes the catch. For the Yankees in the bottom of the ninth, no runs, no hits, no Senator errors, nobody left to score at the end of 9 full innings. Washington 3, the Yankees 3. The lights go on here at Yankee Stadium as we go into extra innings. Score tied 3-3, and Harmon Killebrew the batter. Killebrew has walked twice, was hit by a pitch ball, and bounced to the shortstop. Johnny James sends in a pitch. It's a curve, low, ball one. Nothing pitch is a curve high, ball 2-0. Now the pitchers of record are Don Lee and Johnny James. Duran, Curley, and Shen cannot be involved in the decision. Nor can Woodisett, Hyde, or Clevenger for the Senators. The 2-0 pitch. Fastball, high, ball 3. Goes to the Rosenberg. Here's a 3-0 pitch. Strike call. Killebrew started to throw his bat away and trapped to first base. But falls it in midair, so to speak, and he's back in the batter's box now, ready to go. 3-1 to count. 1 pitch. Strike 2 call. 3-2 the count. Now the windup and the payoff pitch. Curve low outside, ball 4. Johnny James didn't want to give him anything too good to hit at. And that brings up Julio Garcia, who lined to left, hit a double play, singled and homered. He started things off in the 9th inning. The stretch is going to try to bunt and take the pitch inside. It almost hits him, ball 1. There looks down at Ellis Perry, coaching at third. McDougal was really in on deck there that time. Hadley is holding first against Killebrew, ready to charge in. Stretch by James. The pitch is batted. A good one. They have to go to first base to throw. To Richardson in time to get back there. Moving the second on a sacrifice of Killebrew. Well, that was a good bunt. It rolled almost dead down the first base line. Going from the first baseman to the second baseman covering. The lead run is in scoring position, and here's Hal Narragon, who was used as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning and walked. 1 out. Yankee outfield, Serve and left, Mantle in center, and Lopez in right, not playing too deep. Here's the stretch. The pitch is a curve low, ball 1. McDougal, Trubeck, Richardson, and Hadley on the infield. Howard catching, and Johnny James, the 4th Yankee pitcher of the day, out on the mound. Top of the 10th inning. Pitch is hit on the ground at second base. Richardson in on a big hop. Throws to Hadley to retire Narragon. Moving the third is Killebrew. Here is Trey Thornberry. Usually the pinch hitter and drew a base on balls and came around to score in the 9th. McDougal and Howard talking with James now out on the mound. The strategy working overtime in this last part of the ball game. Changing of hitters, changing of pitchers. 3 4-3 to score in the top of the 10th. 2 out. Thornberry the batter. And Killebrew over at third base. Wind up the pitch to Thornberry is a swing pitch to left field. Here comes Killebrew, his score. And moving to second base on a double is Dave Thornberry. He broke his bat, hit it right off the end of the bat. The bat broke almost in two, just over McDougal's head inside the foul line. And the Senators take the lead 4-3 here in the top of the 10th inning. And that brings up Billy Consolo with 2 outs and a runner down at second. Here's a stretch to pitch to Consolo. Curve inside, ball 1. Billy batting .218. Has a double, a triple, 2 homers, and 8 runs batted in. Two men are out. Pitch is foul to the left of the plate, right in the center of the dugout. Strike 1, 1-1. The pitch is hitting the ground is short. Kubeck up with it. A long throw. In trying to get Consolo. But for the Senators in the top of the 10th, they score 1 run on 1 base hit. No Yankee errors. 1 man left to score at the end of 9.5 innings. The Senators 4 and the Yankees 3.
Carburetor, you've got proper mixture of gasoline and air, and you'll enjoy smooth engine performance, greater gasoline economy if you use Atlantic Imperial gasoline to keep your car on the go.
These teams meet tomorrow afternoon in the Memorial Day doubleheader, starting at 1:30 p.m. Chuck Stobbs and Pedro Ramos will be pitching for Washington against Ralph Perry and Art Ditmar for the Yankees. And all that screaming is for Mickey Mantle, who will lead off the bottom of the 10th. And Mantle has really led off in 2 innings in 2 different games to get the Yankees started. He homered in the 6th inning of last night's game, and that started a barrage of Yankee walks and hits and runs. And he started off the 6th inning of this ballgame with a homer in which the Yankees finally scored 3 runs on 4 hits. So Mickey's up there. He singled, struck out, homered, and flied to right field. 4-3, the Senators lead in the bottom of the 10th inning. John Lee out on the mound. First pitch to Mickey. There's a swing and a miss, strike 1. And that's Hector Lopez with Elston Howard to follow. Strike pitch. Ground ball to second base. Gardner up with it. Over to back there. 1 away. Billy Gardner almost bobbled that ball. It popped out of his glove. 1 out. And here's Hector Lopez. Lopez doubled and walked. Took over for Roger Maris. 1 away. 4-3. The Senators lead. Bottom of the 10th. Lopez is a strike ball. Fastball on the inside part of the plate. Curve is over. Strike 2 ball. He came sidearm that time. And Hector leaned back away from the pitch and it broke over the plate. Side on first strike. No, whoa, hold the phone there. Lopez started his swing. Paparella's right on started up. and he hurriedly pulled it down as he saw Hector Sheffer swing. 3+ actions that time. Now the 1-ball, 2-strike pitch. Low outside, ball 3, 2-2. Two strikes, 1 out, nobody on. The 2-2 pitch, curve way outside, ball 3. Full count on Lopez. Now for the payoff pitch to Hector Lopez. Here it is. Ground ball over the pitcher's head out to center field. A base hit. Lopez gets his second base hit of the ball game. The first hit off Don Lee, and the 8th hit for the Yankees. And here is Elston Howard. Howard single, bounced to third, bounced to short, and reached on an error. Yankees have bunched their hits in this ball game. They got 3 in the first inning, 4 in the 6th, and 1 here. In between, they were held hitless. All right, here's the stretch by Lee. The pitch to Howard. Strike the swing and a miss. Boy, Ellie had a cut at that one. He really loosened himself up. Swinging the bat over his head. Picked up some dirt. Nothing in 1 the count. There, holding first against Lopez. Pitch. There's a base hit to right field. Lopez around second. Goes into third base. And the Yankees now have runners at first and third with 1 out. And Bob saved the batter. What a ball game is this? Out on the mound, Billy Gardner, Hal Maragon, and Don Lee talking things over. The Yankees have runners at first and third with 1 out, and the Senators lead 4-3 here in the bottom of the 10th inning. Serve is the batter with Kent Hadley due to follow. Short, struck out, doubled, and then struck out again. Infield and double play up. Here's the stretch. The pitch, third, outside, ball 1. Again the stretch. The pitch, third, hit, down the third. He's straight to the plate. He's out at the plate. Hector Lopez is jumping up and down at home plate. A very close play at the plate as Killebrew caught the ball in back of the bag, made a high throw to Maragon, who had to come down quick to put the tag on Lopez sliding in. And Joe Paparella called him out. Fielder's choice from third baseman to the catcher, moving the second was Howard. At first is served, and time is called as Kent Hadley comes to the plate. Boy, was that a close play. Here comes Cookie Lavighetto out to the mound. Oh, man, it was a tough play for Killebrew as he was right in direct line with the runner coming down the line. He fielded the ball directly in back of third base, had a throw over Lopez's left shoulder. The throw was high. Maragon actually had a leap for the ball, make the catch and come down and tag Lopez. Hector had a good jump at third base, too. So now with The Senators leading 4-3. There are 2 out. Howard is at second. Serve at first. Ken Hadley, who was up for his first time in the ballgame, is batting an even 200. He's 2 for 10, has 1 homer and 4 runs batted in. The fans ought to try and get out here tomorrow. Talk about action. 2 men out. On deck is Bill McDougall. Here's a stretch by Lee. The pitch. Strike 1 is swing and a miss. Lee checks the sign from Narragansett. Howard leads off second. Server at first. The pitch. A low ball 1-1. Strike 2 out. Senators lead 4-3 here in the bottom of the 10th inning. Here's a stretch. The pitch is a ground ball. Hit the second. Gardner beats the ball. He fouled the ball. And all hands are safe. Holy cow. The easiest chance Gardner has had probably all year. He tried to play it too safe, and he really kicked that ball with his knees. All hands are safe. The bases are loaded with 2 out on the batter, Bill McDougall. McDougall has walked twice, bounced to third, and fly to right field. Remember the ground that Hadley hit to Nellie Fox? And a situation similar to this, Fox fouled it. All right, here's the windup by Lee. Pitch to McDougall. A foul out of play, strike 1. One strike on McDougall. Bases loaded. 2 out. The windup. Serve is over. Strike 2 ball. Nothing in 2 to count. The pitch high inside, almost a wild pitch as Lee tried to put a little extra on that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 out the windup. The pitch, third, hit down the first baseline, foul. 6 foul. The hitter at the end of his bat had a lot of English on it. Baseball thrown out in a play. Here's the windup by the big right-hander. The pitch, a little bit high, ball 2. Narragansett started to walk off the field. Woo, man, was that close. 2 and 2 to count. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, and the bases loaded. The Yankees lead 1 to tie and 2 to win it. Lee takes a look at Howard over at third. Here's the windup. The pitch. A foul going out of play. Narragansett's chasing that, but it hits the top of the upper deck. Joe Paparella dusts off home plate. McDougall flips the mask back to Narragansett. The tension is mounting in this ball game. Howard at third. Serve at second. Hadley at first. 2 men are out. Here's the windup. The pitch, clear high inside, almost hit Gill in the head. Ball 3-2. So it's come down to a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The bases loaded and Washington leading 4-3. Here's the windup. The pitch. Full far. He's walking. McDougal, no balls and 2 strikes. Don Lee finally walked in the 4th inning, the tying run. Here's Bobby Richardson, who's 0 for 4. The pitch to Bobby. A ground ball to third. Killebrew up with his steps on the bag. That's all. But the ball game is tied up for the Yankees in the bottom of the 10th inning. 1 run on 2 base hits, 1 center error, and 3 men left on base to score at the end of 10 innings. Washington 4, the Yankees 4, and we pause for station identification.
You are tuned to 1460 on the radio dial. This is WOKO, Albany, New York. 27 minutes and 25 seconds after 5. The temperature is 75 degrees. This is your station for music, news, and sports.
We're going into the 11th inning. The Yankees, let's see, Serve in left, Madlin center, Lopez in right, McDougal, Kubek, Richardson, and Hadley on the infield, Howard catching, and James pitching. That's the Yankee lineup. And let's see for the Senators, who will be leading off. Usually it's a fellow who makes a great play at end an inning leading off, but this time it's Billy Gardner who booted an easy ground ball to set up the walk to McDougal to allow the tying run to score. Gardner, one of the purest fielders in the big league, which only goes to prove again you never can tell in a ball game. All right, Billy has walked, double, fly to left, bounce to third, and walked again. 1 for 3. Johnny James sends in a curve over, strike ball. For the score. Curve, low ball, 1-1. The pitcher is due to bat next. The 1-1 pitch. Strike 2, swing and a miss. Is breaking through. After a long, cloudy afternoon, the lights are on here at Yankee Stadium. The pitch, high inside, ball 2-2-2. The 2-2 pitch. Up foul and coming back out of play. Well, it looked like with only 1 game on Sunday, might get home in time to eat dinner with the kids. But let's see, we've been playing 3.5 hours now, right, Pete? 3.5 hours. And it's not over yet. Curve high inside, ball 3-2. The ground ball hits to third. McDougal can't get it. Kubek up with Gross to first. Safe at first. McDougal slowed that ball down just enough, enabling Gardner to beat it. Gill got his glove on the ball. It goes as a base hit. Kubek was there, but of course McDougal trying to make the play. It's an infield single. Second hit off Johnny James. And that's going to bring up the pitcher, Don Lee. 1-for-7 as a batter, batting 143. The Senators have just about used up all their pinch hitters. Yankee infield looking for the bunt. It is bunted in the air. McDougal makes the catch. No chance for a double play. Gill had ideas of stopping that ball, but it was bunted a little too hard. So it's one away. Here's Bob Allison, who struck out, fly to center, bounced to short, popped to short, and walked. One away. Curve over, strike call. Ken Hadley holding first against Billy Gardner. Joe Paparella takes a look at the ball, says it's all right, keeps it in first. On Bob Allison, the road side 4-4 in the top of the 11th. One out. Billy Gardner leading off first base. Pitch is bunted. Wait a minute, foul ball. It must have hit Allison's foot. It eventually landed there. Allison started again, and then Joe Paparella held up both hands, yelling foul ball. Nothing in two on Allison. He had McDougal deep at third. Could have walked down to first base had he bunted fair. Here's a stretch by James. Curve outside. Howard bluffs the throw down to first. 1 ball, 2 strikes. In the stretch. Curve low outside. Nice backhand stop by Howard on an almost wild pitch. 2-2 the count. 1 out. Here's the stretch. 2-2 pitch. Up in the air to the infield. McDougal and Richardson calling for it. Look out, men, and McDougal makes the catch. And here's Jim Lemon, who hit into a double play with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 9th inning. Two men out. Gardner at first and Lemon the batter. Here's the stretch. Curve, strike called. Outside ball, 1-1-1. James came side on that time. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out. Score tied 4-4 in the 11th. Billy Gardner leading off first base. James set. Third hit foul outside of third. 2 strikes on Lemon. Here's the stretch. Hook high inside, presses Lemon back 2-2. Balls, 2 strikes and 2 outs. The 2-2 pitch. Strike 3. Got him swinging. First strikeout for Johnny James for Washington in the top of the 11th. No runs, 1 hit. Now, Yankee there is one man left. Score at the end of 10 and a half innings. Washington 4 and the Yankees 4.
Remember, keep on the go with new Atlantic Imperial, the gasoline that cleans your carburetor as you drive and keeps it clean.
Take a look at the scoreboard again. In the American League, Baltimore defeated the Red Sox 6-1 in the first game. The second game is tied 1-1 at the end of 4. Kansas City leads Chicago 4-2 at the end of 6. And Detroit defeated Cleveland in the first of 2, 6-5. In the National League, Pittsburgh over Philadelphia 8-5. Cincinnati defeated Milwaukee 4-2. The Dodgers shut out the Cubs 4-0, and the Cardinals are leading the Giants 4-1 at the end of 5. Yankees have played 3 extra inning games up till today. 2 of them were 10 innings, the other one 11. So this ties the longest extra inning game the Yankees have been in, and the Yankees have yet to win a game that has gone beyond 9 innings. They lost 8-3 to Chicago, 5-1 to Cleveland, and 3-2 to Cleveland in extra innings. Now we have a pinch hitter for Johnny James. John Blanchard batting for Johnny James. And this is Blanchard's first at-bat this year. He and Joe DeMacy have not been to bat. All right, Don Lee first pitch to Blanchard. As a ground ball hits him off the foot right back to the box, and Blanchard's down at one knee. He fouled the ball right off his foot, and Blanchard went down on one knee. Lee threw to first base just to play safe anyway. Joe Paparella looks at the ball and keeps it in play. Benches have been pretty well emptied today. The one strike pitch, low, ball 1-1-1. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Ground ball to Beck there at first. He's up with the graces to the bag for the unassisted putout. Blanchard hit the ball hard on one hop to Julio Becerra. And that brings up Tony Kubek. Kubek singled, walked, bounced to second, popped to second, and fly to right field. 1 out. First pitch to Kubek is low inside, ball 1. No strikes on Kubek. Don Lee into the windup. The pitch is hit on the ground at first base. Becerra up with it, races to the bag for the unassisted putout, 2 in a row. And that brings up Mickey Mantle. Mickey has singled, struck out, homered, fly to right, and bounced to second. Pitch is low, ball 1. Nothing pitch is swung at a missed strike line, 1-1. Mickey wants to Rosenberg. Up to Lopez, flips it up to him. One strike on Mickey, 2 out, bottom of the 11th, score tied 4-4. Nobody on. The pitch is low, ball 2, 2-1, and Mick almost got right down on the ground as the right knee gave way. Pitch change up on the outside corner, strike 2, 2-2. strikes, 2 outs. Pitch, ground ball, hit slowly to first base. Gets there, flips the lead. He's safe at first. Safe at first. Billy Gardner was there to field the ball, and it would have been an easier throw for Gardner, who could have flipped with his right hand, but Care had to catch it with the glove. Transfer it to his bare hand and throw to Lee, and Mickey beat it out. Hit number 10 for the Yankees is Hector Lopez, who is 2 for 2 since coming in the game. He double, singled, and walked. And let's see if Mickey will try and steal the bag. Mickey has 4 stolen bases and 4 attempts this year. Here's the stretch. Pitch. A fly ball. A deep right field. Long belly. It's a home run for Hector Lopez. He wins the ball game. How do you like that, Lopez? The Yankees win it. 6-4. Hector Lopez came from nowhere off the bench today. Got his third hit of the game. One of those ground balls, and the whole Yankee team came out to congratulate him. A tremendous team win for the Yankees and for New York in the bottom of the 11th. 2 runs, 2 hits, no Senator errors, nobody left. The Yankees win it in 11 innings, 6-4. And while we're getting the totals ready,
We'll tell you that a clean carburetor can increase your driving pleasure. Now, Atlantic Imperial gasoline actually cleans your carburetor as you drive and keeps it clean, too. Quite a ball game, Phil.
totals in the ball game. For the Yankees, 6 runs, 10 hits, no errors, 10 men left. And for Washington, 4 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors, and 12 men left. The winning pitcher, Johnny James, who is now 1-1 and lost none. The loser, Don Lee, who was 1-0 and lost 1. And it's the first extra inning win for the Yankees this year.
Well, that winds up another Atlantic baseball broadcast, but tune in for plenty of baseball listening tomorrow. We have a doubleheader for you starting at 1:30. The Yankees and Washington. Now, this is Bob Delaney speaking for Ralphie McClellan, saying that all for now from T. Valentine and Sons, brewers of the crisp refresher.